Hello, human network. We have some software for you today. Hello, Charkie.
Hey, Cass.
So are you familiar with Hudson Soft, by any chance?
Alright, correct me when I get stuff wrong. They made Adventure Island.
Yes.
They had the caravan that went around Japan so you get high scores in games.
This sounds about right.
And they employed a man who could hit a button really fast.
Yes, this much is true. So, maybe you're not familiar with their founding, with some of their company history. It seems like you have a few fun facts lined up, but maybe you're not a Hudson expert like I am not, also. But I know a few things. I know enough for tonight's stream, and that's what counts. That's what matters.
Yeah, one of us does. That's important.
So, they were founded in 1973. They did computer products for a while. They were mostly, like, resellers. They would sell, like, lines of computers like the Sharp and the NEC and so forth. And in around the 80s, the late 70s, early 80s, they had this idea to bundle games with the computers they were selling. And these were, like, very basic computers. So they were, like, they would bundle, like, 5 or 10 games by reports, by testimony. And they were, like, very, like, basic little things. But they realized that there was money in the selling of the software. So eventually, they became a game development company. And most of their work was focused towards those PCs, like we mentioned, specifically NEC, who produced the PC-8801, the PC-8001, the PC-8801, and PC-98, and so on and so forth, and also the TurboGrafx. It's a whole thing. But basically, very
memorable names of all those
of course,
computers.
Very unique. So, here's the thing. At some point, they started to produce games for this little company called Nintendo, the scrappy young upstarts. I think they made, like, Nuts and Milk.
Yeah. Wasn't that the first third-party thing on Nintendo, or am I incorrect?
You might be right. I don't remember necessarily, like, the black box early Nintendo catalog or third-party stuff. I know Tag Team Match Muscle, article on the Bad Game Hall of Fame website, was one of the very early ones. But, here's the thing. They got in pretty good with Nintendo through this, and like, bringing Bomberman to the NES, and Lode Runner was fucking huge. And eventually Nintendo's like, alright, you're trusted hands. We're gonna give you the ball to run with here, the punch ball, if you will. That'll make sense a bit later. And we're gonna let you bring some of our games to the NEC PC-8801, which by this point had like 40 or 50% of the market share in Japan, was the go-to home computer. And Hudson took that punch ball, they ran with it, and these games are the result of that. And we're gonna take a look at them, we're gonna judge them, we're gonna see how far they stray from the NES originals. But first, I want to do just something for a little bit of fun. This one was not an NES port. It became an NES game later. But have you ever seen the original version of Bomberman?
Oh, a long time ago. It's very crude, if I remember correctly.
That is certainly a word for it. I'll have the streaming to you in a second. I'm going to warn you. I think I have the audio properly leveled for stream. But these games, some of these games, the sound effects in them are... Sound effects is very generous, let's say.
This is PC speaker era, right?
Yes, this is full-on beeps, if you will. This is a PC-88 boot screen, by the way. Yeah, we got one file, and I think it's something like run. I have to hold down Shift press 2 to get a quotation mark. Bomber dot. I'm familiar with DOS, MS-DOS stuff. This is a little less familiar to me, but we'll get there. I have, like, all the commands I need queued up, at the very least. And it's gonna take a minute to load as well, so... But this is the original Bomberman coming up right now, or it was known in Europe, Eric and the Floaters.
That interesting name.
Yeah, especially with, like, modern vernacular, modern vocabulary, and what the word floaters means. But
I'm also imagining the world where that's the name that stuck.
Yeah, the Eric and the Floaters franchise. Long live, long may it reign.
Floater jetters.
you're going to get a look at these controls here. We're using a numpad and spacebar, but these are not consistent. Some of these games have joystick support, some of them do not. But let's jump in.
Any X input support on these older things?
Not baked in, but these emulators can be,
This doesn't
more fully featured than you think.
This doesn't look as rough as I remembered it looking. In my head, it was more like original Lode Runner kind of graphics.
Lovely sound effects there. You may notice that we take half steps, and that enemies can walk through bombs.
Oh, that's not fair.
Yeah, no. They had a little ways to go before they really got this whole thing figured out. Also, you can spawn and immediately die in this game, because enemies will be, like, right next to you. But yeah, this half-tile shit ain't working for me.
Now, Bomberman kind of looks like a hiker on the Alpines.
He's got his jaunty hiking cap on. Oh, well, I'm fucked.
He kind of looks like you'd watch him go up like a little display on Price is Right and yell, "Stop! Stop! Stop!" Then he goes over the edge and you lose.
Just like we lost just right now, so...
Yep.
That's Bomberman. I just wanted to show that to give a little bit of context for what a PC-8801 game might typically look like, with Hudson, like, building it from scratch. And this is early days. This is, like, 1983. Like, July 1983, maybe? So, most of the Nintendo stuff we're going to be dealing with starts in, like, 1984. Most of it's around 1985, and the last one we're going to look at is 1986. So they had a little bit of time to develop this. To develop on this house style, as it were, and to sort of incorporate cues from the Nintendo catalog. But we're going to jump into our first proper Nintendo to PC-88 conversion right now. It's going to be balloon fights.
I think the prevalence of so many different types of like PCs back in the 80s kind of confuses me now. Because, like, when I think of, like, PC, I think of, in that era, like, when I was a kid and stuff, I think of, like, well, you had an Apple, you had an IBM. And not, like, because, they had, like, the PC, I've already forgotten what it's called.
Some of the competitors would be, like, the Sharp X1,
right?
The Fujitsu FM7. These would be the contemporaries, and they're about similar in terms of hardware spec.
Was MSX around this time?
MSX1 was, but the MSX2 was one that really took off in that vein, in that product category. This looks like Balloon Fight, more or less.
Yeah. A little stuttery, but...
Yeah, that's 4 megahertz processor that will do that to you. And someone pointed out on Twitter, I don't remember who it was on Twitter, but someone made a prescient point, which is that people think one of the later games we're going to be playing today is bad because of the hardware. And that's not necessarily true. I mean, to be clear, not a gaming machine. Gaming was, like, maybe, like, a cool, like, 5th or 6th on their list of priorities for what they wanted this machine to do. This was mostly productivity. By the time they got to, like, PC-88, which, again, huge computer in Japan, like, they had a bit more of a focus towards, like, having multiple colors on screen at once. And, like, scrolling and things of that nature, which made it more of a gaming machine, but this could do the job well enough.
Yeah, I think also part of my confusion is, and it has entirely to do with the circles I run in, which is, I always think of these things with the games first in my mind, because, like, I know they're PCs, they are literally computers for, like, doing shit, productivity and things. But I only ever hear people talk about the software like, oh, Bomberman, Metal Gear. It's like, I know those computers did other things, but I just have them in reference to, like, you bought a PC-88 because you wanted to play this, right?
Oh, that's bullshit. That balloon, that double stomp they got in there. BS. No, what you're saying isn't bullshit. What you're saying is just, like, of course that's what you know, because in the lens of, like, American English-speaking web interest in these systems is primarily because of their game output. Because that's, like, kind of what we're interested in. But,
I assume that's also the same for, like, something like the ZX Spectrum, right?
Yeah.
Was that a PC, or was that a...
Well,
See, I don't know.
Kids did learn to
American.
program on that. There was like a big like government initiative, or was it like Sinclair himself, who's like, we should really teach people how to code and how to program. So like, yeah, and dads would use it to file their taxes and stuff, and they had multiple uses outside the game space. But again, it's like the games that we remember fondly because nostalgia, because like people who were living in Europe, who were British, unfortunately for them, you know, who grew up with these machines, who were kids when they had like the ZX Spectrum and whatnot. What were they doing? They certainly weren't filing taxes or like doing spreadsheets, that's for sure. You know, they were playing the games, and so that's the thing that we look back on with fondness, and those are the things that we work to sort of emulate and encapsulate and preserve to an extent.
I know some like things even went like the other way around. Like, if I remember, correct me if I'm wrong, like SG-1000 eventually had like a PC add-on. It was like, hey, your video game console, now you can use it to do taxes.
I believe you're right. They definitely had a keyboard at a certain point. And what would you do that for if not for like business productivity stuff?
Yeah.
I should get back to this real quick, which is to say that this is a fine version of Balloon Fight. You hold down the Z button, no, spacebar, to continually hover. I think on NES you had to bang the keys out. You had to mash, you had to turbo that button to get, like, airborne. I could be misremembering that. I like Balloon Fight well enough. You know, it's a perfectly fine version of Joust, if that's what you're looking for.
You do have to kind of mash on the NES to get, or pretty much any other version of Balloon Fight, get altitude. Now, how much involvement did Iwata have in this version?
Friends.
That's a good question, because I know there's the famous story of Iwata, like, actually getting in the trenches to, like, finish some code on Balloon Fight on NES to make sure it actually worked the way they wanted it to work. They had, like, some late-game breaking bug that they stayed up nights to fix.
I'm just going to go ahead and assume nothing.
It's not unreasonable to say that he maybe had some influence on this. We can jump into Balloon Trip mode. Yeah. And this is going to reveal something.
The best mode.
This is going to reveal something about the hardware. Keep an eye on the water. Hello, Xinjin Meng, who is rating us and is looking forward to Super Mario Bros. Special. Absolutely, we will be getting to that in time. That is the showstopper. That is the last thing we're going to play, so you'll have to endure like 7 or 8 games before then. But it'll be worth it.
Calm waters.
Yeah.
Calm waters today.
So
very spiky calm waters.
So, scrolling on a system like this that does not have like dedicated tile mappers and things of that nature, very tough to do. Smooth scrolling was not figured out on PCs until like Carmack figured it out in the early 90s with Commander Keen. And, you know, there certainly weren't any Japanese developers who had figured that out before then, especially not with the hardware they were working on, which was, like, again, not mapped for this stuff. So, yeah, it's very much, like, tile-based, as you're seeing here. And, like, a lot of trickery to get any degree of smoothness, and that's about as far as I usually get. Zin Minjing saying, as long as you're 15 FPS flip-screen limited palette games, yes! That much I can tell you, is that these are all... the refresh rate for this monitor, 15 Hertz. I think there's different models that had 24 Hertz. This is what the 2-player would look like, but I don't feel like getting parsec set up for this.
Okay, no.
No, because we have to map the controllers to keyboard buttons, to keyboard keys, because these are all like played on the keyboard. That's the thing. So
I can't use my keyboard and like say like, hey, we have 2 keyboards now.
No, unfortunately not over parsec, I don't think. But
that was a common thing back in the day, right? Have 2 keyboards set up on one PC?
No, you would have 2 people huddled around the same keyboard, which is much more economical.
Double productivity?
Alright, you type in this window, I'll type in this window. We haven't even figured out, like, we haven't even figured out GUIs yet, but we're gonna figure this out. How about some Excitebike?
Oh, sure. I love Excitebike.
I am not great at Excitebike.
Me neither, but I love Excitebike.
We got a version of the music here. They even have the design feature.
I may be jumping the gun, but design works in this one?
Yeah, I would assume so. Unlike the NES version, where you can't save the tracks because Famicom disk system and saving the floppy disk. It's a whole thing. But let's Get on the
I'm
track.
just gonna... Ooh.
Yeah, so 4 colors at a time.
Let me see. 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah.
It could go up to 8 colors, but they would have to half the resolution for that.
What is the current resolution?
320 by 200.
What's 100 more pixels at that point? You can cut those.
Boost the volume a little bit, because this game's a little lower in the mix than Balloon Fight before, because you have the constant engine rev sound. That might have something to do with it. As I said, I'm not great at Balloon Fight, but this I'm not great at Balloon Fight either. But Excitebike, you have Z and X are your keyboard keys for this one. To I think like first gear, second gear. Is that how it works? One of them raises the temperature, one of them doesn't.
Yeah, you have your normal cruising speed, and then your go fast that raises the temperature.
Oh, never mind. Oh, I was pressing the wrong key that whole time. I was pressing the spacebar, what I had spacebar mapped to on my controller. Now I'm using Z and X, and you can hear the difference in the engine. Ooh, that sound wasn't pleasant.
Yeah, so don't overheat.
I'm not going to make a great crack time on this, unfortunately, but...
You can get 3rd place, at least. You know, well,
Ugh.
doesn't... Maybe not in the cards. As someone who has a... don't blow up? Okay. As someone who has, like, a kind of a fledgling interest in doing, like, pixel art kind of stuff, I really love working with limited palettes like this. Like, just 4 colors. That's
absolutely.
Great.
No, I love the look of this stuff. Like, on DOS, like, having, like, I forget the name of the palette, but, like, the one where it's, like, the light blue, the purple, and black and white. Only colors you need.
Why can't I remember what it is? Because that's, like, my favorite one to work with.
Get up there.
Someone in chat will tell me. EGA, yeah. Gotta say, someone in chat will tell me, and I will.
Isn't it CGA?
Is it CGA? You know what? I will tell you in a second. Because
I lived through this shit and I don't remember it. And I play a lot of DOS games, and I still have to look up a guide every time.
I'm actually launching up Sprite right now, so I can see. I want some info on the color palette of this, and I'll be able to tell you.
So you're going to see a lot of dithering in these games. While you look that up, I'm going to mention that you'll see a lot of this sort of checkerboard pattern here, where it makes it almost look like another color. Right? You know, close enough, as close as you're going to get on a machine like this.
Yes, 4 color. 4 colors for CGA. Okay, this is the PC-88, correct?
Yes, but the thing is that it's adaptive palette. Like, the colors we're seeing here are not necessarily the colors you're going to use in every game.
Right.
You can specify, you can map out what colors you want to use on a per-game basis as a developer, so...
Generally, these sorts of palette sets for stuff like this will include, like, the full range. And then, like, if you're say if I wanted to make something in the style of PC-88, I would, like, choose from the full range of colors that the PC-88 could do, and then, like, say, like, okay, I have to pick only 4, though.
Yeah. I also got best time on this track, by the way.
Oh, good job. Unfortunately, I don't think that, Sprite contains that as a default.
I think we're straight on to track 3. I don't think we're going to see other people on the road with us. So if that's a limitation, that's a difference here.
Yeah, kind of doubt it.
I don't really want to race this whole track again. Let's restart the machine. Let's see some of the track editor. Design. Play mode A, B. I don't remember the difference between these. Let's go with A.
Yeah. When in doubt, pick the default.
So this is my track.
Alright, you're about to run out of time on this track. You didn't get 3rd place. Wow, man, that is strict. That is extremely strict for a straight line.
Well, we got it. You know, we came in first place.
No, game over. That. No, you didn't.
Well, we were on the podium. We were first.
Alright, So, if you want to ramp, you got to spell it R-A-M-P.
Alright, let's do that. Drive past that.
R-A-M-P.
A...
And then a ramp should appear.
Yeah, there we go. Oh, Charkie, you messed with me. I can't believe it. Can't believe I fell for that.
Whoa. That's... Oh, yeah, wait, I got an idea. Go back to Q.
Alright.
Make an entire map that's just Q.
Oh, that's
Just
so gnarly.
Just
this
the hell map.
Sucks. Remind me never to skate on your Tony Hawk Pro Skater maps. That's...
Oh, you should have seen mine. It was just like a fucking rail tornado going straight up into the sky.
Oh, B is where you get other people.
There we go. That's I kind of thought that might have been the case.
And watch that frame rate drop.
Mm.
Oh, that's gonna be a few broken bones, I tell you what.
Yeah, that's... yeah, just... they're gonna...
At least the other racers are doing as bad as I am, I think.
You're gonna get buried in a coffee can at this point.
Alright, here we go! Now for the exciting part.
Put in the Excitebike.
We're almost there.
Yeah,
there we go.
In case you're wondering, no, I don't know why I'm like this.
How the fuck are you supposed to do this in 16 seconds?
Yeah, I like how it is like trying to dynamically figure out what these.
I think it's based on the length of the track and has no idea for the hazards and so forth.
On that note, though, the shortest possible track seemed to be impossible to place in. Yes, you don't have to finish this one. I
How many more is it? No, we're so close. Come on. We've only been lapped like by 5 other racers.
Hey, you're a little off of the record.
He seems pretty excited.
Smellable Bear says, no game better highlights the difference between CGA and EGA than Mega Man DOS. Yeah, we did play that in CGA when we did do that on the... We did that on the stream a little while back, right?
Yeah, we did that on Discord.
Or was that in Discord?
That was
that was in Discord, yeah, okay.
Okay, so I'd have to put a floppy disk into this. I would have to emulate a floppy disk and then save the data to that, but that's alright.
You know what? Question that I'm pretty sure I already have the answer to. When you got a game for the PC-88, it just came on a floppy disk?
It can come on floppy disk, it can come on cassette as well.
Ah.
I think cassette was the cheaper of the options. Usually how it worked. And yeah, then you would buy, like, this... I think I'm playing this as a floppy disk version of this game, but it could have conceivably come on either or. But that's Excitebike.
If it came on cassette, would it do that thing where it, like...
Yes.
Takes like 2 minutes to load and it just flashes every color on the screen?
It wouldn't
really
flash
fast?
every color on the screen. You would hear the audio of it, though.
Okay.
And that would be, like, unlistenable. So, I'm going to play this game. This next game is Ice Climber.
Classic. Don't like it. Classic.
Classic. Haven't even played it yet. That's a Soldier Boy quote. Alright. So, Ice Climber. The original. It is backspace to jump. I have not found the other key to make you do the hammer.
Well, we got time to experiment.
Well, I had time to stand still, I had time to die. That's backspace. Is it any keys around backspace? No. The problem with this is that this is... The US keyboard mapping is not what the NEC PC-88 keyboard looked like. But also, like, you know, this was Wild West times in terms of developers and, like, figuring out what's best practices for what keys should be.
Yeah, I've complained in the past about PlayStation 2 game era, which probably one of my favorite video game eras, period. but how they just hadn't quite figured out controls just yet. Like, what does an inverted camera mean? Is it actually inverted, or is it not inverted? And can you change inverted? Should left and right be inverted? For some reason, they thought yes. But as much as I complain about that, like, just this, imagine playing in this era then, where, like, what key is, like, left? Is it 4? Is it A? Is it the arrow?
No, it's
is it
L
7
for left.
for some reason?
It's L for
or
left.
Or is it L?
Duh.
Yeah.
It's J for jump, it's L for left.
It's just whatever the programmer thought up in their sick minds was like, yeah, that makes sense, is what keys you got.
So we're going to see how far we can get with just jumping. And, you know, this scrolling effect here is similar to the way the NES game scrolled. I mean, it's a vertical scroll. I don't think it was continuous scroll on NES. I think it was sectioned off like this.
It was pretty. This is pretty close.
Barring, of course, the color situation, which it is what it is. And you'll see that the objects don't scroll with the screen. That is absolutely a hardware limitation sort of thing, where the sprite layer is separate from the tile layer, and scrolling one versus the other is... or scrolling them both at the same time is a task too far. No, come on. Get me out of here. No bonus.
Oh, well.
Alright, let's see how far we can get on the next mountain. Again,
so about how...
I'm sure there was a jump button somewhere. Or not jump button, a hammer button somewhere. I don't have access to the Japanese manual. If I did, I could scour that and maybe figure it out, but
oh, that's gonna be your death coming up. Ah, you...
No, this is gonna be my death when I don't make it onto that platform.
Maybe there is no hammer button. Maybe
there is definitely a hammer button. This wasn't like a Commodore 64 where it's like we get one button and it does 20 different things out of necessity. This is, you have the whole keyboard, we're going to use the whole keyboard. Down and backspace, no. Up and backspace, no, to answer Video Game King's question.
I was thinking, what if this is like just a pacifist version of the game?
I've seen video of this being played. Nintendo Complete is a YouTube channel that used to have like a website and used to have like archives, like footage of these games, like anything that was Nintendo related, and even stuff that wasn't Nintendo related. But I think their website went down at some point, and the person who played the games, people would ask in the comments like, "Hey, you're playing this PC-88 version of Ice Climber. I could not figure out any of the buttons," and they would respond in the comments and be like, "Yeah, I don't remember these either. It's like I recorded this like a few months ago, and don't ask me to remember shit."
I know what that is. About how many of these, how many of these, PC versions NES games do they make?
8, I believe.
8, okay.
There's one that may or may not count. Have we seen enough Ice Climbers?
I think we've seen enough Ice Climbers.
I think we've seen enough Ice Climbers. Sorry to, Sakurai, I know you love Ice Climbers, but, I do not share that enthusiasm.
Sorry to the Popo Lolo heads out there.
How about some golf? This is
that's all the excitement I can muster up for NES golf.
Well, this is NES golf. This is Nintendo No Golf.
Oh, okay.
Let me get this loaded.
You remember when they found golf hidden in the Switch?
Yeah, as a tribute.
And then they took it out.
Yeah. That's Nintendo. This is the XM8 emulator, by the way, which is my preferred emulator for PC-88 stuff outside of RetroArch, which is just... What's great about RetroArch is that it automatically loads and does like all the console commands like all the time. This is spotty as to whether or not it does all the console commands for you. I don't want to be putzing about with like a DOS prompt, a basic prompt, whatever proprietary thing this is.
By the way, speaking of that's Nintendo, you saw F-Zero 99 just came out the other day?
I've heard people talking about this. I think I saw like a little bit of gameplay of it. It seemed interesting. I don't care about SNES F-Zero.
Well, I would recommend anyone at home, if you want to check that out, you should, because Nintendo will probably be taking it down next month, I believe.
Yeah, probably. This is gonna be golf. This doesn't work in Quasi-88, which is the emulator packed into RetroArch. So I have to play this in a different emulator. For whatever reason.
If you show me this screenshot and you told me this is golf on the NES, I would have a moment where it'd be like, yeah, that's golf on the NES, as I remember it.
Yeah, I can tell because of the vertical lines, like, and stuff on the right-hand side. There is a bit of nuance that is lost. But hey, you can still, like, aim left and right and see, like, the stuff in the preview window. So, it's not as smooth as it was on NES, to be sure.
Yeah. How are you at these, like, golf games?
Bad.
Okay.
Well, funny you should ask.
Overshot it a little bit.
Undershot that one. Alright, I know I need to switch my club. That doesn't automatically pick clubs for you. Let's go with a 9-iron. I do not know the difference. I know that just as you go down the list, that one wood is the best, and that as you go down, as the number gets higher, and as you switch to the iron, it goes less far. Smellbear asks, what's your stance on the golfer in this was real human Mario? That is a point of contention. That is a question that has been asked by the ages, throughout the ages, by many a people.
I'm willing to split the difference and say his name was Mario.
Sure, he's just a guy named Mario.
There are many Marios. He is one of them.
Alright, I'm going to aim this. I'm going to line this up. Even though the preview window says that this is, like, straight ahead, I can tell from the actual crosshair here that we want to hit it more like this.
Little extra power in it. There you go.
Alright.
Hey, you got 4 and a par 4. Not bad.
That is amazing to me. I think I was a little over that, though. Okay,
that's
we're
plus
fucked.
4. Never mind.
Alright, we are fucked now, because I do not know how to get out of these sand pits.
Well, generally you have to hit the ball. Use a sand wedge.
Oh, is there a... That might be...
Yes. There's a spoke club just for this situation.
Sand wedge.
There you go.
Alright, so you said you don't know anything about golf.
Oh, no, I know about golf.
I was actually golfing yesterday, believe it or not. For work.
How'd you do?
We just went to the driving range, and I got a few onto the green. That's the best I can ask for. Yeah, that one was going to be out of bounds for sure.
You should, honestly, if you just, like, fucking nail that ball as far as possible out of bounds, you should get bonus points for, like, that was impressive.
Yeah, no, we appreciate the stamina, the energy, the strength of your swing. Complete dog shit in terms of, like, actually playing the game, but, it's... Sympathy points.
As little excitement as I have about NES Golf, like the first one, I still do really like golf games. And what I appreciate is that somewhere in 1983, like, we just figured out golf games.
Yeah,
like someone made
credit to
the first...
Soft. Soft did a lot of the groundwork in figuring that shit out, and then they built virtual highlight on a golf game engine. Article on the website. There's also like 100 golf game GIFs in that article if you want to see how I am at golf games, generally speaking.
But I'm trying to remember what the first golf game that was like this, because it was not NES Golf. There was one that came before it that really kind of like set the watermark of what a golf game is.
Yeah, I don't know. That's an
can't remember.
Weasel would know. Weasel in our Discord server would absolutely know. They have the golf shrine. They have a proper shrine dedicated to golf games. So
in their house?
Yeah.
Anyway, like I said, I like how in, like, again, 1983, someone made a golf game and everyone was like, yep, that's it. That's how you play golf as a video game, and we basically never changed it. People have tried to change it. People have tried to change it, and every time they do, they're like, oh, actually, this kind of sucks. You should just go back to the power meter thing.
This is not my putting thing. This is my putting thing. Whoops. Ooh, yeah, this is shot number 9. We are not doing so hot on this one. But we got it in. That's what matters.
Par 3 is only a suggestion.
I'm better at mini golf. Especially if it's glow in the dark. For whatever reason that this helps me, that helps aid my swing. In case you haven't figured it out, like, the first thing you have to hit is how far back you're bringing the club, and then you have to hit in the white with the second one, otherwise it's a slice. But at this point, let's just overshoot it. No, you're all good.
I was about to say, come straight out of chat. The best golf is with a trackball. I have never played one of those Golden Tee machines, actually.
I've seen them. I have never bothered to play them. I played a lot of Cabela machines in my time.
Do those have a trackball?
No, those are light gun shooters, but...
Oh, okay. No trackball deer hunting?
But they are similarly ubiquitous in the way that Golden Tee is. You cannot go to an arcade without seeing a Cabela's Big Game Hunters, Big Buck Wild Hunter, Shoot Kill Murder Deer game. And now they have like zombie modes in them too.
Zombie deer or
no zombies, and they're just like,
okay.
Fuck it, put it in here. Zombies are hot right now. It's better than Raw Thrills games at least.
Okay, so I have never actually seen a Golden Tee or Cabela's game out in the wild.
Do you go to arcades often?
This town is just dead. In terms of arcade machines, it's dead. There's a Dave & Buster's. I do not know if it even still exists, but the time I went there, I did not see either of those machines either.
Dave & Buster's has really fallen off. Not that they were ever like super great to begin with. They usually took horrible care of their light gun machines, but they've since stripped out all the fun ones like your Time Crisis, My Beloved Ghost Squad, and now it's just Raw Thrills bullshit.
I got turned away the first time I ever went to the Dave & Buster's.
Why?
So I was in California, I believe, and I was with two friends, and we all were like, let's go to Dave & Buster's. And we go, and one of them did not have a up-to-date ID. He had his state ID for Louisiana, but it had expired, and he hadn't gotten his new one yet. And he was like, sorry, we can only take people over 18. And he was like, well, I'm over 18. And you could see it on the thing. He's like, that's expired, though. We can't let you in. So we were just all turned away.
Huh. Now
I don't remember them carding me. I don't remember them carding me at the time I went here. But no, I complained on Twitter about it. Because I was like, man, I got turned away at Dave & Buster's because of the stupid ID thing. And Dave & Buster's liked the tweet.
They didn't respond to it? They just liked it?
They didn't respond to it, they just liked it. And that was the first account I ever blocked on Twitter. I was like, go fuck yourselves.
Some social media intern having a laugh at that company. We played way more golf than I wanted to play or expected to play.
I mean, hey, golf's fun. Golf's a fun game, even if this one's not so much.
It's fine. It'll get you there. I mean, that is, in terms of parity, Parity, that is, it's fine, I think. And now we're going to look at tennis. In a moment when I can bring it up.
What do I know about tennis? Well, I know about tennis for NES, that you can use it to break Super Mario.
Like some cartridge swapping thing, or?
Yeah.
Alright, get ready for the greatest color palette you've ever seen.
Woo!
Fun day at the club today.
I understand the choices. I don't appreciate the choices.
Alright, we whiffed that one.
Just kidding.
Let's figure out the keys. Alright,
just kidding.
None of those letters. None of those rows.
You're trying to ice out the other guy. Is there a rule in tennis about this?
There fucking should be, if this is any indication. Alright, space, CX, everything. Everything all at once. It is none of the keys. We can just watch this loop for a little bit. Okay.
It's a meditative game.
So I'm half
contemplate the ball.
I'm half fucking around here. It doesn't work in PC-88, which is my preferred emulator.
Oh,
so if I play something like a golf in that, where it doesn't boot at all. So there's still issues with doing everything in one emulator. We're not quite at that point yet. But luckily, I do have XM88 on hand, and I figured out one of the keys. It's a nice climber situation where I figured out one of the keys in this game. I figured out the high, where it's overhand. This will eventually load. There we go. And it is, on this keyboard, the straight line key, the vertical straight line. I don't know what that's called in computer terminology.
Straight line? You mean the...
straight line and forward slash.
I'm sure someone knows what that is. It's a pipe. Guessing.
Just like in Mario. I see why they picked it now. There we go. And now the game is in play.
What brother is that on the
that's Tario,
chair,
the tennis Mario bro.
That's not Mario because he's blue.
Clearly, and the colors here are going to be completely accurate. Especially when we get to the Mario games, which we're getting to. So this is slower moving.
Yeah, I think you have a lot of time to contemplate your
choices.
You know,
that
exactly.
we've made.
Life choices. I was going to say your positioning on the field, but that too.
Now, I could crank this up to 8 megahertz. I could double the clock speed or the CPU speed. And there, to be clear, like when I say that, like there were PC-88 models that were 8 megahertz and 4 megahertz. And then there were updated lines, like the MK2 and stuff, and they all had different, like, minor changes to the configuration.
Just for reference, how many megahertz would like a current computer be, more or less?
We don't deal in megahertz anymore. We deal in gigahertz at this point. So that's measures of 1,000 times more.
Alright, so what if you were to overclock this to 1 gigahertz?
It would just be fast forward. There's no regulator in place, so it would run at full speed, and it would probably be like the round would be over, the match would be over in the blink of an eye. You can do this with MS-DOS games if you want to like boost it up so it's utilizing your full CPU, so you can set the cycles to whatever the comparable thing would be on your CPU, and you can watch games go in super fast motion.
I want to say some speedruns do that, where like there's just an option like built into the game on release where it's just like, don't throttle, just like run at whatever speed my computer is, because they were like, this is as fast as computers are ever going to get, right?
Yeah, and that's why you had to have turbo buttons on old computers as well, which would counterintuitively downclock your CPU, because they knew that games would run too fast because of the full speed thing.
I have to admit, as a kid, when I played Doom, I always hit the turbo button.
Well, of course, you want that turbo.
I want turbo. I want Doom to go fast. I don't know. Yeah, I was whatever Doom experience I had, you know. Here's the weird thing, though, and I remember hearing this in an LGR video, was at some point, some companies would make the turbo button actually unthrottle the computer because so many people thought that turbo meant go fast that they would do it, meaning that what the turbo button did was just different depending on what computer you're using.
Depending on the manufacturer, yes.
Yeah.
Again, Wild West.
Wild West.
How do I not fault? That is the question. Probably if I did like an underhand swing, if I could figure out the key for that, that'd be swell. But that's not happening. I've already tried every key on the keyboard.
I wonder, like, I don't know how many sports games they ported over.
It was this in golf, so we're done after this one. Mercifully, that is the end. Oh, we can see the computer serve.
Because I know, like, some of these old NES era sports games were pretty, like, unfair with their AI, to say the least. But I wonder how that transfers over to, like, a PC like this that maybe is not as capable as an NES for this sort of thing. I'm assuming, actually, it might this thing might be.
Stupid computer faulted. Fuck you, computer, you idiot. What was the question?
So obviously, the PC-88 is not suited for graphics as well as like an NES is, but like otherwise, in terms of like processing speed and that kind of stuff, were they like on par? Was the PC better? Do you know that?
It depends. It's very contingent on who the developer was, what line. Because, like, again, like if you're talking like IBM compatibles, as we used to call them back in the day, they came in all shapes and sizes and varieties and hardware spec. So depending on like what your budget was, so that doesn't help answer the question at all.
All right, yeah.
We're moving on to a new game. Oh dear God. Okay, this is Mario Bros. Special. So we're moving into Mario now, and I can tell from this screen that the colors are going to be... in fact, hold on. Basic V2. Oh, yeah, I'm using the wrong machine. Uno momento. We want to use a V1 for this.
A classic Mario Blue.
Let's see what it looks like. Yeah, this is the way it was meant to be played.
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah,
I'm not going to do Mario this dirty. This version of Mario. This game needs all the help it can get. So let's... we'll restart work, or do I have to close content and do it again? Okay, we're good. I can use my controller for this because I have everything mapped properly on it. Spacebar to jump. That's all we need. So this is their version of the classic Mario Bros. Arcade game. You may notice that it is completely different from the Mario Bros. Arcade game. This is a collection of like mini games that use the mechanics, kind of the arcade game, and sort of does the presentation. But for whatever reason, they could not just get Mario Bros. As it was. They could not just do it as was. All right, we flipped all those switches, so now we can exit the screen.
I do admit, when I read Mario Brothers Special, I was about to say like, "Oh, I know this one," and now that I'm looking at it, I'm like, "No, I don't."
No, you're thinking of Super Mario Bros. Special again. That is the show closer.
That's on me. That is on me.
So
I was about to say, could they not handle the enemies, but they could.
So we need to jump on the trampolines while they're on it, and that will flip them over. We can't jump underneath the tile. And I think that might be what the issue was. I think they couldn't figure out how to do it where if you jumped underneath something and hit it like from underneath to make that work as a mechanic in the game. We'll see, because they did another attempt to bring Mario Bros., classic arcade Mario Bros. And NES Mario Bros. To this system. And it is, again, like, basically a complete different game.
Now, is it bad that I think this looks more fun than actual Mario Bros?
Yes, it is. Because I love classic Mario Bros.
I do not. This looks more fun.
This has more variety. It's like they saw the special stages in this, and they're like, well, what if we could do one better? What if every stage was a gimmick stage? I don't want to die here. I need to get up there, obviously. This stage is about collecting... Well, I fucked that up. I fuck everything up in these. Well, come on. Get me up there. So, here's another thing about this, about all these games, is that when it comes time to do jumping, they do not feel great. Hudson did not have the feel for, like, traditional jumping in a platform. How did I fall through that platform? Excuse me.
I feel like in this era, most companies didn't have the feel for jumping.
Yes, that is very true. I'm rewinding because I don't want to have to go through all those stages again. So we do have the option to rewind. That is also why I prefer using RetroArch and Quasi-88 for this stuff. Ugh. Yeah, the jumps are delayed. Something about the 15 hertz, I think, display means that, like, you know, it's every fourth frame you're seeing. When you're like, if you're like playing at games at 60 hertz and you're used to that, you have to get... Oh, fuck that. I don't accept that. I don't accept that result at all. Somehow I got that jumping into it, but whatever.
What you're saying is that Digital Foundry would not be happy with this game.
Well, the frame pacing is on point. It's the everything. Fuck me. I'm good at Mario Bros. I'm not good at this, but I should be like okay at this. I should be able to split the difference somehow on this. I want to show off more stages, so I'm just rewinding liberally at this point. Someone in the chat said, "Fuck me."
Why did they say that? I mean, check in on them.
No, goddamn. So, that the Koopas are well designed. Fuck this. Everything about this jumping sucks. Okay, here we go. Can you
Coopers
read
are well
some
designed.
comments from chat, if you don't mind?
Yes. Verapaz says, the Coopers are well designed.
You know, they had access to, like, what the assets looked like. They couldn't just copy and paste the assets straight up with their colors and everything. So they did their best to approximate them. The Mario, if you look at Mario's sprite here versus the arcade game, or the NES game for that matter, even beyond the colors, there's, like, some weird differences, like, in the width here and stuff. And yeah, this probably would be squashed to 4x3, and now I think about it, but this is the native res.
Video Game King says, in Hudson's defense, platformers didn't really exist as a genre at this point in history, because Pac-Man only came out in late 1984. Yeah, which is what I was saying, that basically almost no one had figured out how jumping a platformer should work yet, because, well, there wasn't enough platformers yet. There wasn't, like, an established norm for it. Even after, like, Super Mario had been out for a while, like, people still hadn't caught on that, you know, what button should be jump.
Yeah, and, like, let alone, like, the momentum of a jump, and, you know, like, the hang time and stuff like that, which is, like, absolutely vital. Most games were just, like, straight up at a fixed speed, and then straight down at a fixed speed.
Just like how gravity works.
Yeah, that's it. So they really had it figured out back then. All this hang time stuff is just... It's for the birds. Just like this level's gonna be.
You know how, like, when you walk off a stair, you just immediately plummet to the ground at 9.7 meters per second?
Yeah, that's how I got my leg injury. That's how I... That actually is how I got one of my most recent foot-related injuries. I have a bum leg, and I also constantly aggravate it by injuring it further. This is something that should be known about me, is that I am a clumsy motherfucker. The jump is...
You know, what sucks? As someone else who has, like... Yeah. You know what sucks as someone else who has, like, a kind of a not-so-great leg? Is, my cane's gone.
You lost it, or...?
It got lost. I didn't lose it. Someone else lost it. Granted, they were using it because they needed it more than I do. But it was like a really nice cane. I always got compliments on that cane, and now it's gone.
Fuck me. I just keep mine in the back of my car in case I need it, in case my leg gives out on me while I'm out and about. More
so
than
now I have no. Now I have no cane, but my leg's doing better these days. So.
Well, that's good at the very least.
Hopefully, I don't need it anytime soon.
Mercifully, I don't need to kill all the enemies in this. They're just there as a hazard. It's just about collecting all that money. Alright. Speaking of collecting money. Oh, fuck this. This platforms. This is for the birds. I'm getting, you know, frustrated with this because I'm bad at platformers in general. This is fine. Like, well, I'm not gonna get the bonus on that.
Nocturne Dustclaw says, I really like this trampoline level idea. Yeah, that was when I was looking, I was like, oh, this looks more fun than the original game.
Conceptually, it's neat.
Also the fact that you have more modes of gameplay than just the one.
Well, you know, Mario Bros. Mixed it up by changing, like, the properties of the platforms and the enemies. Was the thing, like, you get to the ice levels eventually, which is about where I tune out of that game, as much as I love it. I don't want to fuck with ice physics. But, you know, different enemy types necessitating different approaches. You'll see that, because I think the bugs are going to come in this one. The bugs who jump with every movement they do. And can I get the timing on this down? Got one.
I just never cared for the whole mechanic of having to hit them from underneath. And then, like, use your slippery-ass momentum to get back up there.
It controls well enough once you get used to it, but I also completely get where you're coming from with that. Alright, I don't know what they want me to do.
Difficult.
Let's try different timings. Not that. There we go.
There you go. Out of chat, reminds me of the weird punchball Mario they came out with.
That's up next.
Oh. I have heard you mention this game, but I've never seen this game.
You will not like it as much as this. I'll say that much as a detail on it. Or maybe you will. It has less variety, but it also is more centered around a singular mechanic. In a way that this is obviously, like, playing with the mechanic, the jumps and whatnot on offer, and then trying to, like, find different applications of that.
Yeah, like I don't need games to constantly be changing like between modes to like it. Like if I was like that, then Ace Combat Assault Horizon would be my favorite one.
I think it's 8 of these money symbols that we need to collect. I'm not counting. Get up there. Mario. There we go. No! It's so sticky.
You know, just a slight color palette change, and this will work great as a Wario game.
Ooh, yeah.
The whole thing is you're collecting money and like jewels and stuff.
I'm concussing Mario at this point, because I accept that I can't do that. That stage is a bridge too far for me. But I don't know, this isn't terrible. I don't want to get that out there, because I don't, you know, this is the Bad Game Hall of Fame, and I want to make something very clear with our mission statement here, which is not just to poo-poo these games, you know, unless they're, like, really just, like, pure bad. And this is not pure bad. This is an admirable effort. I'm just not good. I'm just not good, is the thing. But, you know, if this was the only version of Mario Bros. You could conceivably play at home, lacking, like, you know, an NES, lacking an arcade cabinet sitting in your house, you can get, like, some of the highs of playing Mario Bros. Here. You can get some of what you want.
I didn't want to cut you off, but did you actually jump on top of a crab and kill it?
Yeah, it is a little fucky like that. Like, I'll fall on top of this and it won't work. But I think there's, like, a second, like, where if you, like, get them between platforms, they sort of cheat it a little bit and give it to you. But also, I don't want to play any more of this.
Yeah, sure.
That death sprite for Mario is the big thing. That's, like, the big sign that this was not, like, done Nintendo in-house. Just want to listen to Jaunty Tune for a minute.
Yeah. I was about to describe it.
Encore, encore! The best that one channel sound can give you.
It's almost like a Popeye tune.
Almost, and that, you know, Popeye article on the site that talks about the history of Popeye games and how
Rest in peace, Popeye.
And how it comes very, you know, how it's intertwined with Donkey Kong and the history of Mario and so on and so forth. But speaking of Mario, I got another Mario game for you. This is the elusive Punchball Mario Bros. It's loading. This is still so much faster than it would actually load in, you know, on an actual machine, but... Okay. This is Punchball Mario Bros. It's a lot more like the original Mario Bros, but here's the thing.
Yeah.
Jumping on their platforms doesn't do shit. And that pipe in the center will kill us.
Oh, yeah, you know, famously, Mario hates pipes.
This is the punch ball. If you stand still and press the jump button, you will toss the ball forward, and you have to pick it back up. This is how you kill...
still and jump.
No.
You said stand still and press the jump button, right?
Yes, you cannot stand still and jump.
Right.
You toss the ball. You have to be moving left or right to jump.
So that's what I was saying. If you stand still and jump, you don't jump, you toss the ball.
Yes. The ball also, if they walk into the ball while it's laying on the ground, that won't knock them out. I kind of wish it did, like if they just touch the ball. They also don't turn around when they touch the ball.
To be fair, if they did that, then you just put the ball down and walk away and you would win every level.
Oh, that's not clean. That's not clean at all, the way I did that. I can still get it, though. Alright, cool.
Alright, you're gonna have to clean that up if we want to get the world record.
Yeah, clearly. This is the game I would pursue. This is the version of Mario Bros. I would play long-term. I mean, no one else is, right? So it's... I do want to get some of the enemy variety in this, at least. Please find out. But yeah, so... Here's the thing. Let's talk game design for a second here. And also, let's cheat so I'm not losing any lives, so I can clear this as efficiently as possible. That's not very efficient.
I want to speedrunning Punchball Mario.
All the different enemy behaviors here, right? We saw them demonstrated in Mario Bros. Special, just before. And this, of course, is Punchball Mario Bros. Don't get them twisted. But, you know, like the enemies that jump up and down and stuff, and enemies that have different, like, speeds and stuff. none of that really matters anymore when we're not jumping underneath them or like altering platforms. This is kind of just you hit them with the ball. They when they're close to you, you toss the ball at them, and that
What
kind
happens-
of reduces all the depth from the game.
What happens if you toss the ball in the death pipe?
It appears above the POW block.
Okay.
Which, you know, POW block, and it wasn't present in the other Mario Bros, curiously enough. That's almost like the
that's
signature feature of that game, of this game. Well, let's hit the POW block, now that I mentioned... Well, I can't control the momentum on that, because there's no, like, air time, and I also can't grab it while jumping, apparently. Ooh, yeah. It's also delayed by a couple frames, the jump. So, the concomitant effort here to make this a game that I am hopeless at. Which is really going to impact my world record time, I think. I just want to get on top of the POW block. That's all I want to do.
If no one is speed running a game, then like anything you do is the world record.
Oh, thank Christ.
Congratulations on first place, Cass.
Thank you. I worked long and hard at this. I want to get to the bugs. And maybe an ice level, if ice levels exist in this.
I'm going to take a guess and say no.
I hit the POW block there, by the way, so...
Oh.
The enemy I flipped over did not stay flipped over. There we go. Come on, new enemies. There we go.
There you go.
And I hit him. This very easily. It doesn't matter if they're jumping, it doesn't matter what they're doing. As long as the ball makes contact, as long as there is collision, the game don't care.
Well, that one didn't hit somehow.
Okay, maybe when they're not, maybe when they're midair it doesn't count. But mostly when they're on the ground. But you see what I mean, like, in terms of, like, this, like, strips Donkey Kong of, like... It strips it of an entire... fuck me. It strips Mario Bros. Of an entire system, which is, like, accounting for enemy behaviors. Like, to an extent, sure, like, I can run underneath this enemy if I need to. And that's kind of handy. I'm just bad at this, clearly, but... I'm just gonna wait down here. There we go.
There it is. Sound strategy.
Anything from chat right now?
Why does Video Game King ask? Why does Hudson Mario feel so much more working class than any later Mario? Is it because he's stout? Is it the sideburns? The sideburns.
It's the sideburns. This would be a great time to be able to, like, jump underneath and knock him, you know, like, to do something there. And that has to be, like, the thing they couldn't figure out. Like, in cracking the code and, like, figuring out why these two games are the way they are and why they're so divergent from classic Mario Bros., like, the only answer is they couldn't figure out how to do it where you collide from underneath something in the level and then it affects what's on top of it. They just could not get that down. And so they had to build the entire game like, well, what else can we do? Punch ball? Do you mean dodgeball? No, I mean a punch ball. Yeah, I went to a weird elementary school where everyone just punched each other with the ball. Mario Class Special is putting that out there. It says Blob Marley. I'd play that. I'd give that a shot. But also, it would have to be, like, on the Virtual Boy.
Video Game King. Oh, there is ice.
Yep, I knew it would have to come eventually. Also, not being able to jump while standing still, and then, like, not being able to, like, do, like, a little bit of steering while in the air. Ugh. I will hit the POW block in a second for you, Video Game King. And you can test your theory, your game theory. Wait, perfect? That wasn't perfect, though. I missed the last one. Alright, let's wait for some enemies to come out. Oh, this ice. Fuck this ice. Okay, so I need to do that. And how are the fireballs out? The stage hasn't been going on, like, for, like, an extended length of time. Like, those fireballs are supposed to come out when you're... Ugh. No, I can't go under that. They're gonna get turned around. Again, trying to jump while standing still is, like, death. Okay. Clean slate.
Sure.
Take it from the top. You can't jump while you're standing still. That keeps getting me. I'm underneath. I'm mashing the jump button. I'm like, what? Why isn't anything happening? I'm not even holding onto the ball. You should be able to jump straight up when you're not holding onto the ball. All right. So there you go. That was the POW block.
Do you think when Hudson showed this game to Nintendo did that thing where you smile, but you're kind of wincing while you smile, but you hope they don't notice it?
No, I think Nintendo was over the moon with these. You know why?
Money?
Because, yes, that, and also, think about how great an advertisement for the NES this is.
Oh.
It's like, yeah, so you want your Mario Bros. At home, you could play this. This is the closest we can do for you. I keep kidding the fucking POW block. Or you could get an NES and get, like, a much closer version. Like an almost arcade-perfect version, even. I think I speculated that theory in my Super Mario Bros. Special article, which I think that article, not to toot my own horn, but that game did a lot to raise awareness of Super Mario Bros. Special existing. I think I'm cited in, like, the Mario Wiki and, like, a dozen other places for that article specifically. And I don't even like that article that much, because it's old, and I don't think it was particularly well written, and I would have, like, did, like, 40,000 words about it if I wrote it now. It would mention all of these games as well. But that's beside the point. The point is that I feel like I am at least somewhat responsible as a steward for Super Mario Bros. Special, which we're going to get to in a minute.
I mean, ultimately, if you think about it, you're responsible for this game existing.
Yeah, but really, on a cosmic sense, the butterfly wings that flap to make this game exist, and, you know, my direct involvement in that, that's enough Punchball Mario Bros. We got to ice stages, and that was all I wanted to see, was just how bad the momentum on it is. And, yeah, it turned out to be pretty bad. But what's Game B?
Yeah, what is Game B?
Still can't jump standing still.
Did the original game have a Game B mode? I don't remember.
Yeah, and I don't remember what it was in that. This seems pretty identical. I can't run across the pipe or anything. Video Game King joked, Game B, you can actually hit the floors edition. I tried that, no. Fuck.
Well, the difference is you selected Game B.
Oh, I see, yes, yes. And what a difference it makes. Fuck. Maybe the bonus stages will be different or something, I don't know.
Nope.
It'd be more efficient if I'd, like, wrap the screen around, but... There we go.
Well, I think that's Punchball Mario.
Alright, now, before we get to Super Mario Bros. Special, there is one more game, Mario adjacent, that we're going to get to. This is Donkey Kong 3, Dai Gyakushu, which is the Great Counterattack. And we're going to switch to the Sharp X1 for this. Because the color palette on the PC-8801 version is just too hideous to look at. Like, I would feel bad subjecting anyone to that. So maybe I'll do that for a minute afterwards, but this is going to be Sharp X1. Which is a different model of home computer. I should mention that, you know, some of these games made it to Sharp X1, some of them also made it to the FM7. So Hudson was, like, porting it to whatever they could, depending on the game. So this is the Sharp X1 version of Donkey Kong 3. And if you ever see screenshots of this game, because this game was lost for a while, is the thing, and was only recently rediscovered in the past few years, and preserved, and yeah, so people were kind of excited for this one. Can't use controller for this one because of this emulator. I'm using X1 as part of the common source code project as emulation for this. For whoever cares about that. We're back to keyboard on this.
Ooh, I like this.
Oh, there's no visual. It might help if I switch it over. Yeah, let's do that again, but better this time. Good catch. Yeah, I forgot that I was switching emulators, technically, and that I need to reset my source on OBS for that, so... Well, we didn't... At least I wasn't, like, 5 minutes into the game when it happened, you know? But here we go. Let's get the title card and everything, too, for full effect. This is written by ITA.
ITA or ETA?
It's ETA. This project was personally attended to.
I like the huge ready and the stage 1 we're about to see.
So the thing about this game is Donkey Kong 3 was not a huge arcade success in the way that, you know, Donkey Kong 1 was or Donkey Kong Jr. was. So this interpretation of it is definitely a little looser. I mean, we still have the main mechanic here. We're still playing as Stanley. We're still hitting Donkey Kong with the spray bottle, but...
Remind me of the history of the Donkey Kong series. Donkey Kong 1, we all know it. It's the construction site one. What was 2?
Donkey Kong Jr. was 2. Yep, so that's rescuing Donkey Kong from the cage, because Mario is a animal abuser. And that's mostly like jungle stages, so like climbing vines and stuff. Or like more abstract.
Donkey Kong 3
Greenhouse.
Was you play as Stanley trying to like stop him in a greenhouse, and he's like shooting bugs at you and stuff. Not shooting bugs, but he's knocking
We're shooting
down
pesticide. Yeah, so we have them sort of like, this is kind of like a shoot 'em up. Almost, or like a Invaders-esque thing.
Okay, so we were on a road, and now, what stage was this on again? Strange something?
On the highway. I believe it is called On the Highway. Oh, On the Strange Bridge.
On the Strange Bridge.
And what a strange bridge it is. I mean, truth in advertising.
Yeah, there's the... Is that a UFO in the sky?
This game goes places. I think there's 20 stages.
Yeah.
And I'm not going to clear this. I'm not going to be able to. I'm not good enough to get like every stage, but
this feels more like Space Invaders than the original.
Yes,
Donkey Kong 3 does.
Well, also bear in mind that Nintendo had their own rip-offs of Space Invaders, like just straight up a Space Fever series.
I think everyone had their own.
Yes, at that time, everyone had their own, and those were all programmed by. And those were, of course, you know, being this era of Nintendo, like late 70s, early 80s. It was not actually made by Nintendo. It was made by Ikegami Tsuhinki, who did Donkey Kong famously, and then did it basically uncredited because they were a Ghost Studio.
What is that thing you're shooting up there? The thing that's crying?
It's a centipede. So it stays in place when you hit it. So if you hit it underneath Donkey Kong, you're basically blocking your own shots.
Okay, so right turn coming up on this river. According to the sign.
I fucked up. And I do not have rewind here, so... What am I without my tools, without my cheats? Okay, let's hit this guy nice and early, so he doesn't get in the way.
Something else to get in the way.
Fuck. Okay, here we go.
There you go.
Mash it out. But also don't die.
I want to see what the next stage is.
Yeah, no, that's the appeal of this game. That is like the draw, is you want to see what each of these strange stages is. Yeah, that's about right. There might be aliens among us. I don't know.
The Flaming Council is judging us. What do you think the story is? What story do you think is happening in this game?
I don't know, and we might not be able to find out any more details on it. Oh wait, no, okay, good. We have one last life to live.
Okay. Well, here's the thing. Hudson didn't know either. Because if you check in the original instruction manual, obviously this is Japanese, so I had to run it through it like a machine translation. And there's this one side box that says, translated, "The background changes with each screen. Please connect them and send your story to Hudson."
That rules.
So, yeah, so in the instruction manual, they ask people, hey, what do you think is happening in this game? Send in your stories. I think more games should do that. I think like FromSoft, like for their like Dark Souls games, they should be like,
tell us what we made.
Yeah, what do you think the lore is? Why don't you send us a letter?
I mean, that's basically what those games are, right? Just minus the sending the letter part. They don't care what you think the story is.
Yeah, apparently, according to a little modicum of research I did for this, apparently, like one of the designers said, like, yeah, we just like made a bunch of pictures and backdrops and stuff, decided to put in the game, and then Hudson's decision was just to suggest, like, hey, what's the story? I don't know. You tell us.
That's as much as we're gonna see of that, unfortunately. There's videos on YouTube. You can watch a long play of it if you're curious, because that game goes places. I think by the end of it, you become like a UFO or something. Not the sprite itself, but the background is weird in that way. Now, I did promise I was going to show like a few seconds of the PC-88 version, so let's do that. I think this is going to be V1 mode. So let's go ahead and make sure I'm on V1 mode. Yeah, V1S.
Smebble Bear said, before there were lore wikis, you had to physically mail your lore to developers.
Wait, hold on. Why are the colors so correct on this? Oh, I know what I did. I think this had fucked up color. I thought this had fucked up color because I was playing on V2 mode, which had like the blue graphics we had when we played the Mario Bros in the wrong mode. So I could just play this, actually. I could just play this version of it. Totally did not need to play that Sharp 1X version at all.
You could have had rewind this whole time. Oh, the sound is way different.
Much better or worse, would you say?
Much different.
Lateral move, let's say. So we can actually, and this is also, I get to use controller in my hand, so you don't have to hear me mashing the spacebar. So improvements all around. Ideal way to play. Maybe mute your speakers if you're gonna play it at home. On the country road, take me home. Maybe we will do this whole thing.
Is this game faster, or are you just playing better?
I think it is slightly faster. Which is to its benefit.
Wait, I didn't get you. Okay.
Yeah, no, I moved. I dodged.
Video Game King says, okay, the backgrounds tell their own coherent story. You're driving out some lonely late night or night, you get abducted by aliens. Problem lies in relating that to gameplay.
Yeah, it's very disconnected from what's happening in the front. It's like it's telling two different stories. The story of man versus ape versus the story of alien abduction in the background.
You know what, chat? The background changes with each screen. Please connect them and send your story to Bad Game Hall of Fame.
Yeah, Cassidy at badgamehalloffame.com. Feel free to email that. Yes, just made it in time. Alright, next stage. Let's see where this story goes.
In the UFO.
Still dealing with Donkey Kong here.
That's a huge control panel.
Well, relative to us, we don't know how big the aliens are. They seem like a pretty huge council, you know, like you said earlier. The aim is so specific, like, you need to hit Donkey Kong right in the dick. Nothing else will do. God, there's 3 of these little centipede fuckers now.
Can Donkey Kong... I'm not asking you to try, but can Donkey Kong reach the bottom of the screen?
Yes, and that is a lose state. Fuck. Definitely getting harder. And, you know, who'd have thunk that the higher level you're playing at, the more difficult the game is. Downright unfair, if you ask me.
You know what? This game deserves a modern port. Not even necessarily a remake, but I would like...
This version of Donkey Kong on the Virtual Console or whatever?
Yeah.
Make this the canonical Donkey Kong 3?
Donkey Kong 3 Gaiden. Nocturne Dustclaw says, I just noticed the worms have little jetpacks on. Yeah,
well, that is cute.
It's a good thing they did that to make sure the game makes sense.
Yeah, no, God forbid there would be like a huge like logical hole in this. Oh, I can do this. Whoa!
This level seems like it's gonna be difficult to pass for different reasons than earlier.
Yeah, we may have reached like my skill cap for this sort of thing. Having only one projectile on screen at a time definitely does not help, because if I could just like mash them out so there's like 100 shots on screen at once, that probably wouldn't be a very fun video game, a very challenging video game, but I'd be happier with it.
This game has 20 stages.
Yeah, we're not getting to the end of it.
Would you like to know the names of the rest of the stages, so that way you can figure out the story?
Sure, that's all you need.
Alright, so I'll start from the top. On the highway, on the strange bridge, on the country road, the aliens, in the UFO, leaving Earth, in the Asteron belt, around the Saturn, a mysterious planet, on the desert, by the pyramid, in the cave, at the active volcano, in the active crater, at the dome, on the ground picture, at the runway, a mushroom cloud, at sunset, in the city, is where you'll find the nearest Taco Bell.
It's a long way to go for chalupas, but it's worth it.
A mushroom cloud, though.
So,
there's a
so
level
they
where
destroy
Donkey
the
Kong
Earth.
gets nuked. No, you left Earth at that point, because by then, you're on a mysterious planet on the desert by the pyramid, in the cave, at the active volcano, in the active crater, at the dome, on the ground picture, at the runway.
That's true. Oh, I have a little flag icon in the top right corner. I wonder if that does anything. It's gone now.
You were so close to getting Donkey Kong, but that flag. The call of the flag.
I had to know. That's enough Donkey Kong 3.
There's a...
Wait, hold on. Let's let him kill us again.
I will say, if you go to the Mario Wiki, at home, if you go to the... Magic Meow said, I joined to see you shooting Donkey Kong in the Kongusi.
Alright, ban him. Ban that other moderator, won't you?
Alright. If you, at home, go to the Mario Wiki, MarioWiki.com, and they have a entry on Donkey Kong Country 3, this version, there is a page for every single stage, and they all have a photo of the background. If you would like to see what the rest of this game looks like, it is out there.
This is the big one. It's been a while.
On the ground picture, turns out the ground picture is Nazca lines. So there's your Xavius.
I'm gonna let the computer try to play the game first.
Alright, let's see.
Alright, so far so good.
Demo play. Alright.
Yeah, for whatever reason, they can never figure out how to get the PC to play the demo properly. So it's just a lot of this.
Or it's just the developers going, this is the best we could do.
Yeah, you figure this shit out. We made the game, you fucking play it. The music is weird because it's slowed down. But this is Super Mario Bros. Special, and this is not just a straight one-to-one conversion of Mario Bros. There's special things about this. But at least this is mostly, like, an attempt. This is an attempt. Keyword attempt to emulate Super Mario Bros. On NES.
An attempt on a system that could not do horizontal scrolling.
Yes, so that lovely fade out we're gonna get every time.
I like how you get close to being able to do something on the next screen, and then it's like, no.
No, cheat that. I wanted to demonstrate. I want to actually demonstrate that you can hit things from underneath the blocks, unlike in Mario Bros.
So, okay. Here's my question. Can you go back screen?
No.
Okay, so it's still ratchet scrolling, but without the scrolling part.
It's used as Z and X, by the way, so you can sprint, you can shoot fireballs, and you can jump. And thank God the controls all work for this, because imagine trying to play this without dash.
TV's Vacuum says, hope you're wearing your blue light blocker glasses for this one.
Yeah, 4 colors really is not enough for this. This is where we're really running into a wall with this shit. I should just get through the stage quickly. I'm gonna play this whole game.
Smellbear says, the music in this sounds sick.
Yeah?
Like physically ill. Magic Meow says, some of the leaps of faith you have to do in this game because of the lack of scrolling are diabolical.
That is definitely a word for it. Strike Forcer mentioned Sharp X1 is the better version of this game. Yes, it is, because it has... You get to the edge of the screen, and it scrolls the screen onto the next screen, so you can at least see what's coming up, unlike on this version, but it's still not continuous scrolling. Yeah,
like Boss Doors and Mega Man?
Yeah, straight up. Huh? What could this be? We only have limited time, but... Hey, it's Hachisuki! The Hudson Soft logo, mascot, Hugh B-looking thing.
Does that do anything?
Gives you points.
Oh, okay.
There are a few power-ups in this game, though, that will come later. They're spread far apart, and they only appear like once or twice a piece tops. But, also, this is a strange thing.
Oh! I'm sorry, could you walk back in front of that?
Yeah, that's just good layering. But notice how Mario doesn't walk into the pipe on his own in this.
Yeah.
I also need to open up... I had something bookmarked that tells me...
Finally...
Where all the... I'm going to rewind this, by the way. I'm not going to waste time, because I will run out of time otherwise.
Yes. So you can finally enter the top pipe. Never mind.
No, you can't do that. I've actually tested that earlier, and you can't. Fuck. There's also no, warp zones in this. So we can't skip ahead levels. We're just going to have to play them all in sequence. We're going to have to play all 8x4 stages.
32.
Yes, thank you. I don't think I can get... I don't even think I can get onto that top layer of the stage and, like, bypass all the stage hazards.
Well, not with that attitude.
Ah!
No, it would be on those blocks over there. Oh, it's actually kind of jaunty.
When you play it in reverse, yeah.
Yeah.
This game also loses frames like a motherfucker at a certain point, so... That's good enough.
Yeah, there you go. Now get stuck in there. In that... Oh, well,
good
okay.
enough.
Yeah. We've proven it possible.
So get ready for at least like an hour of this, by the way. I know you didn't sign up for this, but,
I 100% signed up for this.
Okay. Let me open up my Legend in another window so I can still see the Twitch chat and stuff. Okay, cool.
I just love how, like... What's this gonna look like? Yeah! I love how the background elements and your sprite are rendered at the same time, but not in the way... But no, at the same time, yes. They exist on top of each other.
Devious Vacuum says, this is great, but I'm definitely making the window smaller for the sake of my eyes. Can't blame you there. Again, we could be playing the Sharp X1 version, but then I wouldn't have rewind. It would look better, it would play better. Not, like, great, but... And I'm not great at these games, either, I should mention.
Meanwhile, I am watching this full screen on a 44-inch television.
That's the way it was meant to be seen.
Yeah.
Ooh, yeah. Every time, like, you edge the screen forward, it is precarious. Like, am I about to walk into a fucking hole? Who can tell? Who's to say? Aren't we all, in life, walking towards a giant hole that is, you know, the end of life? It really makes you think. They're really delving into the philosophical here. Fuck it. We're not gonna have Fire Flower for Bowser's stage, but whatever.
Okay.
Oh, okay, so... The jumping, you may have noticed, is... not the same as on NES. It is not to the same quality standard as Nintendo figured out. It is delayed again. You do not have as much air control as you would want. The air time and the hang time is completely different. So yeah, if you are coming from having played Super Mario Bros. On an NES to this, you're gonna fucking struggle. But this is my counterpoint to that. This is my thing I'm going to say here. This is my piece. What if this is the only Super Mario Bros. You played? What if this was your first? And you weren't, like,
what if this was
spoiled by, like, good control?
What if this was your favorite? What if you grew up playing this version of the game?
So much for that mushroom.
Later on, you played the NES version. You're like, you know what? I just like how the original one felt better. I thought the different power-ups were cooler.
Fucking momentum.
The fact that I don't get a rest between each screen is just, like, too much.
Keeps you on edge, yeah.
Yeah, okay, there we go. That's the diabolical. Evac appreciates the gamer's honor of not rewinding to get a power-up. Every
that
other
won't last.
rewind is fine, though.
Believe me, it won't last. As I lose patience with this.
No honor among gamers.
I thought he would jump. He did jump.
That's how it goes.
I can't get a running start because the dash isn't. The dash is not working on the screen for some reason. Fuck it, I'll just jump over him.
Oh, yeah, that worked. As far as the... What? You were on the left side of the screen for a second.
Yeah, that'll happen with the way the screen wrapping works. The tile movement, and so forth. Alright, roll 2-1.
As far as the physics and the, like, jumping goes, that they had the original Mario to work off of. Like, this wasn't made in tandem.
Yeah.
I don't think it was made in tandem.
No.
So, do you think the fact that it's like this was that they just could not replicate those physics on this system? Or
I think someone could have theoretically done it on
this
system. I think they didn't know how to. I think they struggled in the same way they struggled with, like, the finer mechanics of Mario Bros. Fuck me. Every jump is blind. Yeah, I think this is an issue of just, like, them not recognizing or knowing how to specifically emulate that momentum. It's not to say the hardware couldn't do it. There are, like, fine platformers on the PC-88. I would love to name them for you, but I don't know any of them offhand. But
I have to imagine that this must have been super frustrating for the programmers. It's like, because I can... If I'm, like, trying to draw, like, a face or something off a reference and it's not coming out, I'm like, I am looking at it right now. Why can I not make this thing that I'm making look like that thing? I can see what it looks like. I imagine that to be the same way for someone making this game and being like, we can't, I don't know, I'm seeing the physics right now, I don't know how they did this. I don't know how to make our system do this.
Yeah, no, that could potentially be very deeply frustrating from a programmer perspective.
Yeah, I want to be very clear that I'm not saying, like, they were bad at programming, just, like, I can imagine not getting it right while having the referencing being like, I just could not do it the same way they did it.
Oh, star.
Because, you know, if this game does this game kind of feel bad to you?
Okay, funny you should mention that. Quick save.
Now, to be fair, these sucked in the original too.
Yeah, but not
maybe
this
not this
fucking
much.
Bad. Oh, I gave away how we're actually going to clear this, because this is just broken. This is the only one of these in the game, because they could not figure out a way to make this thing fucking work.
So the point I was trying to make was, no one goes out of the way. Almost no one is trying to make a bad game.
Yeah.
You know, they're trying to make something that doesn't control well, so even if this doesn't come out, you know, there was an effort. And they definitely put their own spin on this.
And they definitely knew enough to be like, oh fuck, we can't figure out the trampoline, oh shit, this is just awful, put some invisible blocks in there. We even have the underwater stages.
This is more than 4 colors, isn't it?
No. Red, yellow, black, blue.
There's 2 different types of blue.
No. Dithering, there's black dots in the water.
Oh, okay. You know, that's not coming across.
Yeah, no, you're not going to see it, like, it's not going to come across, like, on, like, a stream, I don't think, necessarily. Okay. Which, again, like, that's the point. Like, these old monitors were CRTs, effectively.
Yeah.
I mean, they were CRT monitors, so...
I am watching this on a 44-inch CRT.
Yes. On a 44-inch CRT, you say?
Yeah. With HDMI.
Interesting. I didn't know that was your setup. I knew you had a 44-incher. I did not realize it was a 44-inch CRT display.
No, it weighs 900 pounds.
That sounds about right. Can't go in those pipes. We haven't gone down any pipes yet. I usually don't do pipes in Mario. I usually just play the levels as it is. Can I go into this top one? Sure can. So this is the part where I really freak Chad out, where I really like get people talking by saying, I don't care for Super Mario Bros. On NES. I get it, I get why it's important, but by my policy of fuck all platformers, fuck all side-scrollers, it is one of those, so I don't give a shit about it. Okay, I tried to crouch under it, that didn't work. I played a lot of Super Mario Bros. Deluxe on the Game Boy Color. But I did begrudgingly.
Finally made it.
Oh, we're being rated by the Overluck. Thank you kindly, the Overluck.
Oh,
we're
yes.
playing Super Mario Bros. Special. And boy howdy, it is most certainly Super Mario Bros. In some sense of the word, I suppose.
You know, between streams, I'm going to have to come up with more lore about how bad my computer setup is.
Yeah, just invent like new things. Like it electrically shocks you every like 5 minutes, just to.
Yeah, like so far I've made up that it's a 44-inch CRT.
Oh fuck you! Okay, all right, that's what I should have picked up on as much, but we're not getting that fire flower, I guess. The Overluck says, looks like Mario, sounds like Mario. It's a Mario. It's a little more than a Mario. It's on the PC-8801, by the way. A Japanese home computer. We've been playing all of Hudson's attempts to bring NES games to the PC-88 and Sharp X1 and some other consoles, some other platforms, but this is the big one. We actually have Fireball, so I don't got to worry about Bowser's AI screwing me over. I just have to worry about every jump instead.
Let's catch up some chat stuff. Video Game King says, I'm not sure they had the original Super Mario Brothers to work with, that they wouldn't have Nintendo would have handed over the source code. That's not really what I meant was they probably had the original Super Mario Brothers to play. Like, they could have played it themselves and seen, like, okay, this is what Mario controls like, but not have been able to necessarily translate that.
Yes, that is what the situation would be for a lot of people who are doing ports, especially like in the UK, like US Gold stuff, where it's just like straight up, like we bought a copy of this game, and then our programmers played it, like played a lot of it, and then we did our best to approximate. The slowdown here is not helping. We're losing frames like crazy here because there's too many moving objects on screen, so I can't get any sort of momentum.
This currently kind of looks like Spelunker.
I wonder what that pipe is. We can find out. Oh, no?
Oh, yeah, if you make this jump. Ah.
This is a strange inclusion for a Bowser stage, for a Dash 4 stage.
What if that... Oh, I was gonna say, what if that dropped you right on top of the X?
That would be sweet. A lot of mentions of Mega Man DOS tonight. We'll get to that on stream one of these days. That is my solemn promise. The robots will revolt on stream. Alright, this is where it starts to get interesting again. I promise.
I wouldn't say it's been uninteresting so far, but see what you mean.
Not this stage immediately, but in the next couple of stages, there will be some interesting items that you may not be familiar with. Oh, fuck, that, how am I supposed to... Wait, did I get hit?
Yes, you did.
Well, whatever.
Oh, Jesus. Why? Why would you do it like that?
Hey, we got a 1-up.
Interesting 1-up sound. Oh, you got kind of stuck on that wall there.
Ugh. You can do me a favor, read some of chat while I...
Sure, let me check in on them.
Whoa. I'll take that.
Transparency effect when Mario is on top of other sprites is wild. Yep. I was saying that a couple times earlier, but I love that if you walk in front of a castle, you get, like, active camo for Metal Gear Solid 4.
Oh, that was a pro move right there, if I do say so myself. Oh, and find that invisible block. Inspired.
Ghost Bro called this RG Barrio.
It's not this stage, it's the next stage. Alright, I gotta keep an eye out for a power-up from the future in this level.
Ooh.
It's the only way I know how to describe it. Well, might as well get all these coins.
You get the cat suit.
You're on the right track, believe it or not. Pipe to just another random... Wait, hold on. It might be on this screen.
What are you looking for? Oh, the power-up?
Yeah. Okay, not on this screen.
Or it was on that screen and you didn't look hard enough. Never mind.
What does that look like?
Looks like the P-Wing, almost.
Oh, for Super Mario Bros. 3, the one that lets you fly? But it'd be crazy to fly in this game. Well, fuck me. Let's rewind. I actually need time on this clock to actually get this fucking thing, so...
Alright, you want to do that bit again? Oh, no, never mind.
Nah. So...
Okay.
It's just a swimming animation. It doesn't last very long.
Oh.
It only appears twice in the entire game, but that is the fucking P-Wing from Super Mario Bros. 3. Years before that game existed. 1986. Yeah. So that's kind of strange.
That did look like a lot... In my memory, that looks a lot like the P-Wing. So do you think Nintendo saw this and was like...
I mean, Nintendo definitely, like... put the stamp on this game at some point. They're definitely, like, familiar with this game. But, did they directly pull that? Very possibly.
They put the stamp on a number of games they really have not wanted to acknowledge.
Well, yes.
But this is not... But then again, putting this, like, in the same implication as the Philips CDI games is very unfair to this game.
When are we getting those released on Virtual Console, Nintendo? I think if I was small Mario, I could use that pipe down there. Instead, I'm just gonna fall to my death like a fucking idiot.
Well, if you want to be small Mario, that's a quick way to do it.
I think this is the version that Jeff Gerstmann played through on GB. Yeah, I think he did it post GB, didn't he, Te Maestro? But yes, Jeff Gerstmann played this, and he played it legitimately. I'm cheating to get through it. I don't know if he actually beat it or not. Was there one for the Commodore 64? There was a homebrew version of Super Mario Bros. Original Super Mario Bros. For the Commodore 64 that came out in the past, like, few years. And it was a very impressive effort. It looks great. Oh my god, the jumping. It's so hard to articulate bad control in a video game over, stream. But just believe me when I say the jumping is... Alright, now this stage. This Bowser stage... We're gonna start to see what the real game here is on Hudson's parts. And how they sought to make this special. Because I think another factor here is that... Well, I don't want to get hit. I don't want to fall into the lava either. Can we compromise?
Send in your letters to Hudson and tell them, please do not... I do not want to get hit, and I do not want to fall into lava. And
by the way, here's what I think happened in Donkey Kong 3. Here's what I think the story was, and fuck me! So this is where I think a factor is that Nintendo said, yes, bring these games to your console, but on the off chance they could make them, like, perfectly, and the off chance they could actually, like, make them equivalent, they probably said, but you gotta make them different. They got to be, like, somewhat different from the pure platform versions. And they probably meant to, like, you know, like, hey, downgrade it a little bit, which, no problem, sir. Can do that. We could definitely do that for you. But what if there was shit from Donkey Kong in this game? What if the frame rate dropped like 5 frames a second, too, while we were at it? Let's do that again, but better. Fireballs don't work on these, by the way. Which is strange. I would have... Fuck me!
I don't think you're getting out of here. Well, I was about to say, I don't think you're getting up their Firefly, but I don't think you're getting out of here at this point.
The way I'm playing...
It's a good run, folks.
The problem, people saying the barrels are wiggling, the thing is that they did is that they made them, one sprite is horizontally wider, one is vertically taller. That gives the illusion of movement, of it rolling.
Oh.
Oh, can I actually hit the fireballs? No.
No.
Can I take this to Bowser? No.
No. It would have been really cool if you could take it to the Bowser.
What was the point of that underpassage there? I was hoping he would jump.
You know, if you're small, just to make you feel not as bad.
Here's a little trick for you.
Like, I might have gotten hit, but I got this cool path I can go down. Big Mario can't do this.
I think there's another P-Wing in this level. They're probably going to put it before, like, a body of water or something. Or just put it right here. I'm coming for you, Lakitu. Oh, well. You had my number.
Magic Meow said, I really like how you're completely smooth. What if there was stuff in Donkey Kong? In here, Segway went tits up immediately.
Fuck me.
I can't find the ban button, I'm sorry.
Sure, I take the mushroom. The Lord giveth, the Lord taketh away with these mushrooms. The jump here for... Stop. Momentum. Go.
Alright. There you go.
I think the problem is, it drops your inputs. Is the problem. That if you're dashing and you switch between screens, sometimes it loses track of the fact that you were holding down dash. So you're actually moving at walking speed. And because the frame rate is so wonderful, because the screen refresh rate on the PC-88 is so, like, fluid and smooth, you can't
15,
tell until,
right?
like, 5 frames into this 15 hertz display that, like, you're actually moving slow right now. There we go.
Are there any more new power-ups, or have we seen them all at this point?
There's a couple new ones, but I think they're super late. Wait, hold on, there's actually another one in this level. But it's gonna be like fucking invisible block. It's called the Lucky Star. And it kills every enemy on screen like a POW block would. Which is pointless, because there's only so many enemies on screen. Well, we missed that one. It's somewhere in there. I have the Mario Wiki open right now, the Super Mario Bros. Special page. What is with this castle? Where does this castle go? Castle on a mushroom. Oh, there we go.
Oh, it goes there.
Hey, icicles from Donkey Kong.
Icicles from Donkey Kong? What?
The thing that fell, the little, like, icicle that fell from the ceiling. Well, this isn't gonna work.
In Donkey Kong?
I mean, fuck me, Mario Bros.
Okay.
So yeah, they have the Mario Bros sprite still. I think there's a couple enemies, too, that will show up. Ugh. Ugh.
Should be a power-up here, right?
God, I hope so.
One of these? Maybe that? Nope. No. Fuck us, then.
Oh, it's one of these. Sure, why not? And speaking of coins, remember that you can always subscribe to the Bad Game Hall of Fame on Twitch. For more of me just rewinding my way through platformers I don't particularly care for.
Remember, it's September. I don't know what that means, but subscribe.
I'm gonna wait for this. I don't know how I did that. Ooh! That was terrifying with that Goomba coming down. Fuck!
You couldn't have lived for like another 2 seconds to let me say you were going to Ultra Instinct mode here.
Ah! Fuck this!
Now what happened there?
What happened there was that I assumed there wouldn't be a giant fucking hole the second I went from one screen to the other.
Well, that sounds like a you problem.
Yeah, clearly.
Is there a flag? Yeah, there we go.
Oy vey.
Yeah. Jumping straight across there and going, I sure hope there's a flag there and not just like a pit.
Yeah, that's the leap of faith we all make. Fuck me.
No, that was 100% you.
Yes. This whole screen, this whole world, I just...
Oh, Jesus Christ.
There have been piranha plants.
Oh.
But yes, there have been piranha plants, and the anime too fast is their burden to bear. Delay jump. The dash shouldn't work. Isn't it so much fun having to troubleshoot this shit and just be like, okay, what went wrong here? What's my excuse for this screen?
Magic Meow says September means you're looking for a Dom. And Evac says during Domtober you have to pay Twitch 25% extra to subscribe.
We need real pay piggies in the chat. That's what we need to. There's a piranha plant. Thanks for that.
Have I ever told you my money-making scheme?
Lay it on me.
Well, obviously you can make money as a FinDom, right? That's the whole thing. But like, I could never do that. I'm too nice. In spite of me talking about you playing games, I'm too nice.
Well, everyone beats up on me for I play games, so that's fine. You're among good company, esteemed company in that regard.
I figured I could look into being a Fin sub, not someone who gives money to a FinDom, but someone who just takes money from other people and like just really begrudges it. It's like, oh no, don't give me $100, no. And then everyone's like really into giving you money and being embarrassed about it.
That's a good idea. Unfortunately, I'm more preoccupied with the fact they forgot to program an exit to this fucking thing.
Whoop! That's an oopsie.
I knew about that one going in fairness. That is a documented error that people have picked up on.
It's one of Bowser's many traps. What's that game that in the manual, like, they write off glitches and stuff as being, like, one of the bad guys' traps that you might run into?
There's a few games that did. I know there's, not Manic Miner, but the other game that's similar to it on ZX Spectrum, where they said, where they accidentally did it so, like, there's, like, a broken thing in the game that kills you, and then they wrote it off as, like, there's poison gas you release if you happen to go down this one. I'm doing a bad job explaining that. It's on some article on the site. I think it was like games that were unintentionally broken or something like that, or unintentionally uncompletable. And then Superman 64 refers to everything like refers to the draw distance as kryptonite fog, and then also tells you to solve my maze, even though there's no fucking mazes in the game. So that's what my mind goes to.
I just remember there was some game where in the manual they say something like, you know, you may fall victim to whoever the villains is, many traps. If you do, you'll have to reset your game to continue. And the mini traps are just like the bugs. that make it unbeatable.
That's fucked. Oh, my dash wasn't working. Of course my dash wasn't working. Why would my dash work? This is, by the way, this is one of the stages where if you go down the wrong path, it loops ad infinitum. See, like that. Like, I wasn't supposed to go that way, apparently.
Feedback reminds me that with the fin sub thing I was talking about, there are people on TikTok who do that sleeping stream thing where they sleep and, people donate money to wake them up with, like, noises
Alerts,
and stuff.
yeah.
Yeah. Listen, I already have sleep apnea. My sleep's bad enough as it is.
Why not make it worse for
Yeah,
short-term
you know what?
financial gain?
You're right. How much worse can my sleep possibly be already?
I think I went the right way this time.
I literally woke up like an hour before the stream started.
Oh, here we go! Hudson. Spell it out. What does that spell?
Well, it looked like there were two O's, so Hudson.
That's how they put the little stamp in the game. That's how that's how the people know. That and the little Hubie in the first stage. Hey, we're halfway there. This nightmare will eventually end, ostensibly.
I'm having fun watching this.
Well, that makes one of us.
Like I said, I'm having fun watching this.
So I don't like platformers in the best of days. We've established this. I'm trying to think objectively. Would someone who this is like their first platformer, their first exposure to Super Mario Bros. They say, this game looks cool, I don't have an NES. Oh, there's a version for the PC my dad happens to own. Maybe I'll convince him to let me play it on there.
You got it. You got the mushroom.
But at what cost? Would they be satisfied with this?
I think if this was the only... Okay, wait. Let me back up and... see if I got your scenario right. Are they aware that the normal Super Mario exists?
They're aware of it, but they don't have access to it because they don't have an NES. This is all they have. This is the best version of it they have access to, besides like the arcade and like Versus Super Mario Bros. Or Play Choice 10 or whatever.
I feel like at a certain point, like...
I refuse to accept that.
Especially in like this era of gaming, like, you learn to love the version that you had. Like,
yeah, just ask the Brits about that. Version. Yeah.
Like, I mean, lesser example, but like, I had a Genesis. I played Street Fighter on it. That's not how you play Street Fighter. But you know what? I liked it. Because I was satisfied with having like half of the buttons missing.
Who needs them? Highs and lows. Will we make it to the end of this level in time?
But the only reason I'm like taking pleasure in you having a hard time right now is entirely because you kicked my ass in Mortal Kombat yesterday.
Oh yeah, that's right. Charkie's revenge.
Yeah.
Oh no! That show really fucked me up. But I only have so much time on the fucking clock. There's no way I can make it to the end of this level, right? Especially if I can't make this jump. God damn the dash!
I don't want to say no. I want to be supportive now. I changed my mind. I want to be supportive. Well, you just got an extra life, so...
Hey, these fucking things!
And you can't jump on them.
I don't even care. I'll take the damage.
I do not think this is gonna happen.
Wait, no, wait! No, wait!
No way. I'm sorry, that's just an impossibility.
If I jump the second I land... No. Jump the second there. Jump. Jump.
You have...
No, if I dash here... No, it has to actually dash, though. No, it has to dash and let me jump, too. Yes!
You know, alright, you proved me wrong. You proved everyone wrong.
We got there. It took egregious cheating, but we got there.
This no death run is going to happen one way or the other.
This game.
One way or the other. No death on file. I remember seeing someone do, they did like a no death on file run of I Want to Be the Guy, and they did it just by like shutting off the game and turning it back on every time they died.
This water's not real. I can't swim in this. You can't get out of this. That's bullshit.
That's just a trap. I was about. They could have at least given you a P-wing down there so you could swim out of it. Video Game King says, are you thinking about that one Resuprey video? Yes, that's what I'm referencing with the I Want to Be the Guy thing.
Okay, we landed. This is just... Imagine doing this with like 5 lives, and every time you do it, you have to start the level over. You know, like, playing like an actual video game, the real way. I can't imagine that. Thanks. Yeah, fuck you too, game. Hammer Bro.
You'll be glad you did that when you get into a later level that's down there and there's a mushroom waiting for you.
I think like the only way to play safely, besides memorizing the stages, which I am about to fucking do that, is to like every time you get to the edge of the screen, you just when you're able to, you walk onto it, then you walk back before you walk off the ledge.
I feel like I've already seen some instances where if you did that, you would not have the momentum to make a jump.
And back. And back. Oh, no! Good thing I didn't go back. Well, and I fucked it up immediately afterwards. I cannot stress enough how... the delayed the controls are. And I have run-ahead frames in this. I have it so it's minimizing input latency. So it's better than real hardware. This is not a game for human beings.
I feel like I do this every time for almost every game, but I decided to look up speedruns for this. Just to see the rules. It says here, beat the game as fast as possible by any means necessary. So good news, you're allowed to rewind like you're doing right now. You're on pace. Any means necessary.
I should also mention, this fun fact about this, that there's been attempts to recreate this game in all of its glory for NES as in form of ROM hacks. There was one that was around for a while. Yeah, I showed you the best version of it, which is a recent, like a 35th anniversary edition of it. Or whatever the year would correspond to. And it has all, like, the Donkey Kong and Mario Bros. Items. It has what you want out of this. It has, like, all the secret items. There was a version of it that was around for a while that was just the stage layouts, but it didn't have, like, any of the fun stuff. So it was just, like, these weird stages that aren't necessarily fair to human beings. But you had scrolling. You had the benefit of actual scrolling on the NES. So it makes it, like, 100 times more playable. And also the physics being, you know, Super Mario Bros. Physics. But yeah, if you want to experience these levels and the weird Easter eggs, the way to do it is... How did I fucking do that? Fake fire. That one hurt. I want to test this, though. If I jump through it... So, clearly, like... They had an idea in their head about making longer ones, but they didn't know how to do it, because everything past the midpoint is fake. I mean, thank God, because that's bullshit otherwise, but...
Well, you know, that's not as hot as the ones closer to the center, like with a candle, you know.
Oh, sure, yeah.
Also, good news, there's a speedrun here, speedrun category, but there's nothing up for it, so you're on pace for world record again, second time tonight. Well, that was bullshit.
No.
Oh, go figure. Go figure. It seems like everybody speedrunning this game does the ROM hack.
That's not fair.
PC-88.
They should do the original PC-88 version, or Sharp X1 version at the very least.
Okay, so I will say there are legacy runs for PC-88 and Sharp X, but none under the current rule set.
That's fucked though, because it's still different. Like I'm saying, like it's the ideal way to play it, but it's still completely different because the physics are completely different.
Yeah, but everyone has decided to move on to the NES, which yes, I agree. I think people should be trying to learn the PC-88 version.
Phew. 3/4 of the way there.
Nocturne Dustclaw says, I wonder if anyone made these levels in Mario Maker 1 or 2.
I'm sure some guy thought they were real cute doing that. I'm sure someone did.
I was about to say I could go check, but I just realized you can't really look for levels the way you would want to actually look for things in Mario Maker, if I remember correctly. There's probably some website out there that, like,
compendium
has
for
a
it.
database.
Yeah,
but that's... For some reason, that feels like more work than actually booting up my Switch and logging into Mario Maker.
It's been a minute since I died due to bullshit. Speaking of bullshit, what's up with that one block
I think it's
there?
literally been a minute.
Yeah, no. I meant that literally. What could be in either of these? Well, I guess we're not going to see what's in the other block.
Yeah. How many not NES licensed versions of original Super Mario Brothers were there? Like, how many? Let me rephrase it. How many licensed PC versions?
There's
Super
this
Mario Bros.
Sharp X1, and there's a Korean computer that had this on it as well. If you're talking Super Mario Bros. Special, if you're talking
Just
regular Super Mario Bros.
Yeah.
Are we talking like home console? Because there's the arcade versions I mentioned earlier.
Right.
So that's Versus Mario and Mario Play Choice 10. Then there's like Super Mario Bros. Deluxe on Game Boy Color.
Right. But I meant like not on a Nintendo console. So like PC-88 would be one here, but like was there ever a Atari thing? Was there ever a DOS one?
No, the DOS one...
I'm sure there are plenty of homebrew.
Yes, the interesting thing is that the reason why we have Commander Keen, I mentioned it earlier, is that John Carmack, John Romero thought, wouldn't it be cute if we could do Super Mario Bros. In DOS? Super Mario Bros. 3 specifically, so it's only tangentially related. But they made a version of Super Mario Bros. 3 on MS-DOS with smooth scrolling, and they sent it to Nintendo and said, hey, you want to fucking license this? It's free. Well, I mean, it's not free. I mean, like, you're going to pay us for it, but, like, you know, like, we will make it. And we will, like, handle the publishing. And they're just like, no thanks. And they took what the work they had, they turned into Commander Keen, and completely revolutionized platformers on DOS. If not just DOS gaming in general, by having, like, adaptive tile refresh. This is a bullshit.
And Nintendo's regretted it ever since, you know, Commander Keen, you know, overtook Mario in terms of popularity. It's never looked back since.
Yep. Commander Keen bros.
Wasn't there a quote-unquote Commander Keen game that came out in the past few years? Quote-unquote.
Yeah, there's a bunch of bullshit. The people who hold the rights to Commander Keen are assholes, if I remember correctly. Like, racist assholes, to boot. I could be misremembering. That could be wildly inflammatory. That could be...
So, yeah, let's not go deeper into that right now, just in case.
So the serial killer who owns the Commander Keen license, the Zodiac killer actually owns... You said Ted Cruz.
We went to the same place.
That's synergy, baby. That's why you're the co-pilot on this.
Hero King says Pico Interactive.
Yeah, fuck Pico Interactive. Or no, it's not Pico Interactive. It's like some like pillow something. Not Pillow Fort, but...
Well, now I have an excuse to turn my Switch on, because I can find that out. I have one of the Commander Keen games
Dreams.
On Switch.
Like, I know the name of the thing is Keen Dreams. Whoever owns the rights to Keen Dreams is a piece of fucking shit.
Oh, okay. Oh, Keen Dreams specifically. Okay.
Yeah, it's come back to me now. I think people in the chat are also mentioning it at this moment.
Yeah.
That was my best platforming yet, by the way. I completely predicted all those spots. Why in the ever-loving fuck does GameFAQs list 177 under the games you may like sidebar for Super Mario Bros. Special? I'm not going to say what 177 is, but yeah, that's a fucking curious comparison, to say the fucking least. And I guess it's just because Japanese computers. You like Japanese computer games. Here's one of them.
If it's not stream appropriate, tell me later. I'm curious.
Yeah, no, it is the... No. I can't even mention it.
After party in Discord, just tell me what that is.
Just to tell you, I'm not going to show you.
Cool. Yeah, cool. Painting the worst picture in my mind.
Well, you know, this is the same era, let's say, where a certain developer who made fucking Lolita Syndrome that went on to become like a major developer in games of that ilk.
Don't tell me after the stream.
Yeah, no. This was an era where... yeah, no, we'll cut that topic short. But let's just say that more developers than you know got their start doing very strange PC games, to say the least. Someone's gonna have to look up who made Lolita Syndrome, unfortunately, because it's like a big-name developer now. And they got the most...
You know what? I won't.
I'll look it up between screens here.
Looking stuff up. Okay. I'm still trying to find Commander Keen on my Switch. I don't know where it is.
Enix! Enix Corporation!
Enix?
Yeah, of Square Enix. Don't look that game up, by the way.
Alright, Commander Keen and Keen Dreams. Yes, I know someone already said who owns the rights, but I just wanted to actually see, because I did get it on Switch, because I just saw, oh, Commander Keen, and it was like $1 at the time or whatever.
Also, I want to say hi to Liz Star in the chat, who is a prolific runner of bad games, who is saying that they want to learn how to run this game in particular, which, yeah, that parses.
At one point.
Just don't, we were discussing earlier that you have to play this version of it. You can't play the NES hack. Like, you can't cop out in that way that everyone else does. We were looking at the speedrun records, and everyone just plays the NES hack of this.
So, according to... according to, Switch here, Commander Keen Dreams, it says Lone Wolf Technology LLC. And if I try to select it in Nintendo eShop, it says software is not available.
Charky,
yes?
How the fuck are we gonna get past this?
I thought you said there's only one of these in the game.
I thought there was only one. I misremembered. I wrote the article on this game, by the way. I think I mentioned that earlier in the stream. Shameless plug for the Bad Game Hall of Fame, that I wrote an article about this game. I've played through it before. Okay.
Well, the power of rewind.
Yeah, we're gonna have to troubleshoot this. Doesn't help that I have that shit going on. Okay. I think I have to stand on this block. Can I possibly...
Oh, wait!
No,
You kind of had it if you land just...
Oh, thank Christ.
There we go.
It's a matter of a moment. Whoa! That is a procession of fucking obstacles, I can tell you that much. I don't even care that I got powered down there. Like, who gives a shit after that? It's a miracle that we made it through, even with cheating there.
He says, you know what? I haven't noticed any duplicate levels in this game. That's a point in Special's favor compared to the original.
Were there duplicates in Super Mario Bros? That shows how much I know of Super Mario Bros.
Yeah, there were a number of levels that were just the same, but with a different color palette.
There hasn't been any fun stuff in a minute. Any novel things. These are just middling Mario levels. Or maybe they're fine Mario levels, but it's just the lack of screen scrolling makes them fucking nightmarish. And also the broken trampoline. I mean, that just is what it is.
It's very fun.
I don't know what I was thinking there. I was thinking maybe I would like... Oh, wait, no, here. That's what I was thinking would happen. Something like that. What's crazy is that the peep peeps, is that the name of the fish? There are some that are colored, like, normally.
Cheap cheeps.
Cheap cheeps. And there's some that are colored, like, the inverse, and they look nightmarish.
Yeah, be sure to rewind. If you fall in that water, you have to do the level again. Just land back where you were.
That would be like in Go-Go 13 on NES, which is another game we'll have to play on stream someday. Where you can,
what
if you fall in the water... it's Go-Go 13 on the NES. There's something about the
I mean, say what theme night is that one going to be?
Oh, theme night. No, that's a full playthrough.
Alright.
Unfortunately.
So is this.
Yeah, I suppose so. Lizstar said, I should show you what happened during my major attempt at running this sometime. I got stuck inside of a block in 7-3, killing the run. Well, coincidentally, do we just so happen to be on 7-3 right now? And granted, I'm not as good at games as basically anyone. Unless it's a first-person shooter. I'm okay at first-person shooters, but this sort of shit is, like, kryptonite to me. In terms of my ability to game, to parse data and control. Sure, I'll take that. Jump, Mario.
Jump, man. And I'm angry at myself.
There's some Mario Bros. Enemies again. Thank God those ones are susceptible to the fireball. You know, like, I like the idea of having the bonus enemies in here. And ones that they had like, hey, we have the sprites for these, right? We were just working on Mario Bros. What if we just toss them in as a goof? Or as a one-up on Nintendo, whatever they thought they were doing by doing that.
We have Bomberman, we can just put him in here, who cares?
That would be the peak if they put, like, Bomberman and Lode Runner in here. And just, like, all their other game characters.
I mean, Lode Runner wasn't theirs.
No, but they're the ones who sold it and made it fucking huge on NES.
Yeah.
Like, there is, like, it is difficult to understate, or overstate. I don't remember which one is actually the right one in this context. I'm trying to jump on the Koopa to get to that block, but Lode Runner was fucking huge.
What was that game that Hudson... It was a shooter game that Hudson, like, handled the port of, and after they were done, they were like, you know what? That's a cool license. Ours now. And they just made their own versions of it in the future. That
I know what you're talking about. I do not remember what you're talking about. I know what you...
Like, it became Star Soldier, but I don't remember what the original one was.
Why did the screen wrap
Star
here?
Force.
Why did we need to wrap the screen there for that? Well, I guess don't go down that pipe.
Yeah.
I know that much.
Yeah, thank you, Codeman, Star Force. Also, Lizstar says Wonder Boy. Yeah, I guess that's also true.
Maybe this pipe is the one I have to go through. Nope.
Yes, they did do it twice. They took Wonder Boy and made Adventure Island, but they took Star Force, which was... Let me double check.
I hate these levels, by the way, and so many NES games had levels like this, where either you have to find out the correct route, but you get no, like, signposts or indications as, this, yes, you're going the right way, this is the correct way, no, you've gone on the wrong way. It's always just like, no, do the whole thing, and then find out at the last second that you wasted all the time on the clock, and now you're dead, idiots. I guess it's not that pipe.
Okay, so, Hudson, if I remember this history correctly, Hudson made the NES port of Star Force, which was a game from a company that would go on to be called Tecmo. And Hudson was like, "Eh, that game was cool. It's our franchise now." And they made games called Star Soldier, which were like that but better, and that became way more popular than any future Star Force game.
I'm at a loss.
I believe that was the game that got it made famous the guy who was the main character in Adventure Island Master. I don't remember his name. Bass, who's the guy from Adventure Island?
I don't remember either. Again, not my genre.
Okay.
How are we supposed to clear this fucking stage?
Master, Master Higgins / Master Takahashi. Yes. Blob Marley and Codeman, you're both technically correct.
So I would think it has something to do with this one, but...
Takahashi would be the name I was actually looking for, though.
Wait, what if I use this to jump up here?
Go for it.
That's it! This level sucks. Fuck this. Wait, this isn't even it, though. This actually isn't the right route. Wait, if I go down that pipe, though... Go down the one you come out... Oh, my God.
Oh, you would hate the original Super Mario.
No, I remember these stages from the original Super Mario Bros. I'm rewinding. I'm doing this with Fireball. Fuck this stage. It does not earn my... it has not earned my respects.
Oh, Beamsplash looked up the thing I mentioned way earlier about the excuse for bugs in the manual, calling it traps. It was Sonic 3. And I do have to say, someone did mention that way earlier, but I neglected to read it out loud. So apologies to whoever said that. It will be in the VOD that you said it earlier. So folks watching this on YouTube, go ahead and rewind back until you see the first person who said Sonic 3, and then keep watching it from there, because that technically counts towards the metrics that YouTube looks at for time watched.
Yeah. Yeah, you're gonna have to carry the stream now, because this is requiring my full mental concentration, too. To parse this right now. Ugh. Oh, this one works! That fire thing works! Or kinda works, I jumped through it, at least.
But
we're so close.
I am not sure if it is actually possible to get through the situation without taking a hit.
It has to be. It's just this fireball that's precluding my jumping at the time I want to jump. Wait, no, hold on. And... jump. Jump. No!
It is not. There's no way that is possible.
A few frames earlier. But actually, I need the momentum. The momentum is not happening. For whatever reason, it is refusing to give me the... There we go. But why? Oh, there...
Okay,
sure,
alright.
That one worked.
Sure.
I just did not want to deal with, like, Bowser. I don't want to deal with any of this.
Oh, hey, Last World. Coming up.
Like, you know, like, I have to, like, you know, I know I said earlier in the stream, like, you know, we don't just want to say, like, poo-poo, bad game, this stinks and whatever. Like, you know, like I keep bringing up the idea of this being someone's first time playing Super Mario Bros. Is this version of the game, and
Someone's favorite Mario Bros. They love this.
It doesn't get any better than this. This is peak gaming. The momentum works completely different. Ugh. There we go. I'm assuming nope, that I stayed on
That's
too long.
not gonna work.
Are you fucking with me? How are you supposed to know, like, what, like, state the fire rod is in when you can't see it on the previous screen? I mean, I got it there, but...
They gotta get your quarters somehow.
Clearly. Really fucked up how the PC-88 innovated microtransactions by having you pay 25 cents per credit, but... That's some real innovators, I guess. Oh, wait, we're in 8.1. There's another power-up in... Oh, wait, no, 8.3. Okay.
Okay.
The last unique power-up in the game. They sat on one till this stage.
Do you think there are any kids, like, in the 80s who were, like, playing, like, or they're 80s, late 80s, who were playing, like, a DOS or, you know, other PC version of, like, an arcade port or something, and tried to put, like, a quarter in their machine to continue?
And just burnt their computer out. I keep putting quarters in the floppy drive, but, like, nothing is happening. And now the computer smells weird. Sorry, Dad. I know you have all of our financial records on this machine, but...
You know, it was so much like the arcade experience that they just thought you had to put quarters in it. You would have made that jump.
Yeah. I'm second-guessing everything. I just assume that everything I try to do ends in failure here. I have no faith in my own ability.
Yeah, tell me about it.
Ah! You can see? No! Come on! Okay. I don't know. The controls in this seem really fucking rotten. And I feel like that would just prohibit, like, most folks' ability to enjoy this.
I mean, they just don't compare to your favorite controls, the original Super Mario Brothers.
Oh, clearly.
Actually, yeah, now that I think about it, what if this is just a you thing? Like, you don't like platformers. What if this actually controls great? I wouldn't know. I'm just watching you.
I can tell you with some degree of certainty, I may not like platformers on the best of days. Hey, the Fire Guys, actually from Donkey Kong. They brought back another Donkey Kong enemy. This is a trap, because I'm going to run out of time in this stage, but no, this is a horrible idea. Why would you do this? Why would you think, yeah, have a large portion of this level where we have the worst effect in the...
Well, you know, that's how it was in the original. This is where you get this level.
Yeah, I guess they have to do some approximation of it.
Listen, this is a stealth mission, Mario.
Princess found Bowser's castle.
What if you're not? What if you're actually behind it? Like, this is just like a colored screen door or something.
Wait, hold on.
This is your silhouette.
There's no hammer here. There's apparently a hammer in 5.1 that I missed, but there's no hammer for this? I'm gonna check every fucking block here, see if the Mario Wiki is missing data.
I feel like this is just the challenge. Can you do this with no hammer?
I guess so. This would be a perfect time to put the hammer in. This is what I call, I've coined this term, I don't know if there's a better term for it, but wasteful design. And I think I coined this when I wrote about Spelunker on the NES, its conversion to the NES. Which is, you go through all the effort of programming, of drawing an asset, of programming a unique property for it, and use it once in your entire fucking game. And it's just like, why not use it more? You made it. You put the effort into making it. Spread it throughout the game. Make it, like, organic. Make it, like, second nature. Make it, like, a recurring feature rather than just, like, a one-off thing. And I feel that way about a lot of the power-ups in this. Even if they show up twice, that's still not a lot of, you know? I would still try to get as much mileage as possible out of those things. If I were developing.
I don't remember. What was it in Spelunker?
I like the minecart in Spelunker. I'm not talking Spelunky, I'm talking Spelunker.
Right, the NES game.
Yeah. But, yeah, they have, like, a minecart, they have, like, a vine climbing part of it, and these are things that appear, like, once in the stage, and then never again. They appear multiple times in the original Atari 800 version. So when they approximated them for NES, like, the reason why they did that was because, like, they were key features of that game, and then they're like, yeah, we'll just do it once. We probably spent, like, you know, a whole week figuring out how to implement this, but one time in the map. That's why we have, like, so many fucking turret sections in video games, by the way, because, like, there are scenes where it is appropriate to use a turret, right, for, like, a shooting section, but then it's just like, well, we put all the effort into making turret work, so we should make more turret sections in the game. Have them shoot out of a helicopter during the, like, intro, like, credits or whatever. It's something to do, isn't it? Is it a memory limitation? Yeah. No, because the memory limitation would just be, like, how many sprites they could hold. That's the other thing that makes it wasteful, is that, like, you only have so many sprites you can store in your bank, and to make these unique sprites, and then to not use them, outside of, like, 1 or 2 instances, that is wasteful. That is wasting your allocation.
Did I show you that clip I took of my second time tonight mentioning this game for whatever reason? But did I show you that clip of Ace Combat Assault Horizon with the turret section?
Yes. Or you told me about it. You told me about your experience with it. You should explain that.
Yeah. Okay, so I did post a video of this, like, in a Discord. I guess it wasn't your Discord. But I guess it's been mine because I played it recently. I really like the Ace Combat games. I don't like Assault Horizon. That's a story for another time because, God, that game is a lot. But the second, I'll call it the second level. I don't think it is, but it's a turret section in a helicopter while the credits roll over it. And, like, there's all this action. It's like, you know, take out these guys, shoot this, they're firing back at this RPG and all this stuff. And it's like,
I just realized I missed the
4 or 5
power
minutes
up in
long
this
or
stage.
whatever.
Sorry to interrupt, but there's a clock in this stage that gives you 100 extra
Oh.
seconds on the clock. Useless item, but I forgot where it was, so I couldn't find it. Sorry, continue.
Yep, wasteful design. There you go. Anyway, there's this whole, like, turret section you have to go through during the credits. And I was like, there's no way they'd let you die during the credits, right? So I booted the game up again, and I tried. I didn't press a single button. You can do that whole turret section by doing nothing. Everything will still blow up. You'll still get all the terrorists and whatever. It's just there's no point to it other than, like, I don't know, keep their interest while the credits are rolling.
It's something to do.
That game has, like, no faith in your ability to, like, be entertained by it. It is constantly trying to distract you with new shiny things because they're so worried you'll get bored by flying planes in this plane flying game.
I bought this game expecting first-person shooting, not this plane-flying business.
Like, I am almost, like, part of me has been thinking for a while, like, is this Bad Game Hall of Fame worthy? And it's just, no, I'm just salty at this game. I'm just upset that this game is what it is. Oh yeah, the final mission, Beam Splash mentions this. The final mission, the final boss essentially is like this big dog fight, this chase against this rival plane, whatever. Yeah. Anyway, so it would be cinematic to destroy it at the last second, right? That would be like super cool. So it's invincible for the entire thing up until the very end. All you have to do is shoot it with one bullet from your machine gun right at the very end, and you win. It blows up immediately.
Video games.
Maybe it is stream worthy. I don't know. It's such a bad game. I hate it.
That's good enough for me. How the fuck are we supposed to do this? Like this? I guess that's how you do it.
That.
Okay. Coming up on time.
Anyway, I blacked out because I was talking about Assault Horizon. Where are we? Oh, final level. Last Bowser.
This is flummoxing me. Fuck that. Like this? Like that. Okay.
Yeah. Does say you could just jump over Bowser. It's the last thing. Oh no, do you have to be big for Peach? You don't want to. What the fuck just happened? Cass, did you know that was going to happen?
I knew there was a way to bug the game out. You can get to show game over. You can completely break it in different ways on that screen. I was saving that one up.
What did you do?
Wait.
What did you do to make this happen? Cass?
Wait.
Cass? What did you do?
Okay, that's not intended. Fuck it. Get hit. Maybe it's being Big Mario. Maybe they didn't expect anyone to actually beat the game as Big Mario.
It wasn't that.
Oh,
are we in hell?
Fuck.
Folks.
One more time. At least this is easier than the other one that had like the maze bullshit element to it. This is just platforming challenge.
I'm sorry for being quiet. I'm legitimately stunned right now.
If that is what happens, if it's broken, that's an emulation issue.
Okay.
Fuck off.
That's just how the game. They had a deadline. They were programming. They got right to that part, and they're like, "Okay, it's due right now." It's like, "Oh, fuck, all we have to do is like make a floor here." Nope, sorry, you gotta go in. Gotta ship it. Because that's how games are made, linearly.
I I hate this.
There you go. Never mind.
I don't know how to do the jump any better.
Well, that one's not gonna make it.
I have to do it like as
No,
I'm
you had it
falling...
that time.
No, I did not.
No, that was it.
This is...
No, the trick is to go down first. Now, clearly, you did this once before.
But I was Big Mario.
Oh, yeah. That should... I was about to say that shouldn't make a difference, but I don't think that carries over to this.
Maybe it's just something about the approach here. Fuck it, whatever.
Okay. Alright. Alright. Well...
Millbear asks, can you wall jump if you get stuck in the wall for a few frames? That is like a Mario Bros. Glitch that you can do. I've heard of the wall jump. I don't even know why I'm doing this. I know it's going to still be broken.
Yeah.
Because this stream was cursed.
I mean, it's been a good stream.
No, I mean, it's been fine, but just knowing I had to play this is the curse. Wait, maybe...
Get the biggest windup you can. That'll do it. Yeah, there we go, there we go, there we go. Then, yep. Yeah, maybe it's like you gotta be in the middle. Can't be too small, can't be too fiery.
Yeah, this is just right, just like Mama Bear would eat it.
No, I said... So you can't be too fiery, stop going down there. Stop doing that too, it's not helping.
He says I'm about to fall off the edge, so I want to get off the edge as soon as possible. Okay.
You saw it's Bowser's Diabolical Traps, just like the Sonic 3 manual.
Whoa! Whoa! Okay. Ugh. Here we go.
This is a... Oh, you're supposed to... I'm sorry, I must have blacked... That was the part I blacked out, where I was talking about the Ace Combat. Alright. Try it again. Surely, it'll be different. Cass, it's not different at all.
Alright, now we gotta play the Sharp X1 version up to this point. And then we'll...
Folks.
Super Mario Bros. Special, huh?
Yep. You've technically seen the full game.
It's as full as you're gonna see.
Perfect.
That was Hudson's, that was Hudson's collection of NES to PC-88 conversions, and a few bonus ones. Thank you to everyone who tuned in. I'm sorry I couldn't show you the ending to Super Mario Bros. Special, but something came up.
Thank you for the raids, by the way, everyone who brought people in, everyone who stuck around. I think that's the canonical ending. We should update the wiki, let them know at the end of the Super Mario Brothers special.
Yeah, someone
Mario
can
falls
clip that,
into the
record
nether
that,
and dies.
do what you gotta do, yeah, and we'll show them the canonical ending. The fucking Super Mario Bros. Special. You know, even with that, obviously that being an emulation issue and not, like, actual fucking disc thing that would happen, like, back in the day.
One would hope.
Like, yeah, that's still not a great version of Super Mario Bros. That screen shit is bad, the control is not adequate. But, you know, somehow that being the weakest of the games we saw tonight, it is kind of, like, amusing in its own right? The fact that, like, you know, these much simpler games that they put, like, seemingly way more effort into, And that's not fair. They put a lot of effort into this. Clearly, this is the most substantive game in terms of, like, actual content and just bespoke levels, unique levels, and variety of stuff to do. But, like, you know, between the Punchball Mario Bros. And Mario Bros. Special, and even, like, looking at the Donkey Kong 3 game, the wild thing that is, how, like, spot on the balloon fight version was, and the golf and the tennis for what those are worth, and Excitebike. Like, in Ice Climber, you know, probably too to some extent. Just looks visually worse, but, like, plays totally fine, I would imagine. If you have a hammer, it's probably totally fine. But, you know, like, it's an interesting collection of games. They did something novel. They brought this stuff to hardware that really shouldn't have been able to run it, and kinda couldn't, but when they couldn't figure out how to do something like an NES feature, they worked around it, and they came with creative new stuff. And that's, like, you know, that was a skill that served Hudson well when they eventually pivoted into, or came back around to making original games, new and unique games. Original IPs, if you will. So,
or finding someone else's IP and making...
And stealing that, as we established.
But, yeah.
Yes. But, you know, I think it's, again, interesting, flawed, deeply flawed in some cases, but they did the best with what they had, and they established a working relationship with Nintendo that would obviously pay off dividends for them in the years to follow, until they dissolved in 2012 and got absorbed into Konami, or whatever the fuck happened to them.
Yep, that's pretty much it.
Unceremonious end, but I do hope y'all enjoyed, even with the egregious rewinding Super Mario Bros. Special, us dedicating however long that took to play that. I think that was like an hour and a half of just that. But, and the other stuff as well. That stuff, I think, was more interesting to me than replaying Super Mario Bros. Special, but I feel like I had to do it on stream once. Because I feel like I need to, like, do some of the games we covered in old articles. Maybe that's a stream idea, it's just games I covered before that I actually, like, have domain knowledge on that I can actually speak to authoritatively. Which I should have been able to do for this, but I was just so in the weeds with it that I don't know if I necessarily had the ability to talk and play at the same time. This is a special case.
Next time we do one of those, like, if you need, like, me to carry the commentary, I can just pull up your article and just start reading it out loud.
That would sink the view. That's way worse. my written word? Are you kidding me? We do this everyone. Anyway, that does it for the stream. That's all, folks. We'll be back again next week. I don't feel like playing anything tomorrow, so... And I should figure out how to raid people on Twitch. That seems like a thing to do. Oh, Sarduce is streaming right now. I will kick people to Sarduce's stream, whatever they may be streaming. Danny of the Retro Pals. And, yeah, thanks for tuning in again. And, bye!
Good night, everybody.